Good afternoon. Hey, happy Wednesday. A wrestling Wednesday, as we do every single Wednesday afternoon from noon to 3. All of the greatest wrestling jams.
There's a lot of them.
Of yesteryear and today.
There's a lot of them.
Well, yeah, because they're great. I mean, wrestling music gets you going. It's what gets people going. And that's what they should have done in Blades of Glory. They should have leaned into like Chaz Michael McMichael in like wrestling themes. Could you imagine that?
Ooh.
Figure skating to, I don't think Hulkster or Macho Man.
I thought you were saying with going
Actually,
with,
they kind of do Macho Man.
Kanye with that song, that cut.
Yeah, with Jay-Z.
Yes, People in Paris.
Yes, yes. That was the weirdest movie clip to be in a song. The match there was no match. There was no rhyme or reason to it at all.
I think that was the point.
It's Kanye, so there we go.
You're picking it
but
up
Jay-Z was involved, and you think Jay-Z would have been like, "Why are we doing this?"
I think that was the last time Jay-Z was involved.
Blades of Glory in over Paris.
Yeah, that movie was a steaming pile of crap, but boy, did it have some lines.
Yeah, this is Blades of Glory. They did do this. It's
awful.
Top 3 figure skating movie of all time, right?
I'd say that's fair.
Yeah.
What was the one? Was it Tanya? Was that the biopic?
You got Tanya.
Yeah, that's number one.
I, Tanya.
I, Tanya. That's
that's
your number one.
What do you got? No, I think that we have. There's another one. Cutting Edge. Remember Cutting Edge?
No.
Oh yes.
92 Cutting Edge had
with DB Sweeney.
Yeah.
And Moira Kelly.
That's right.
Buddy,
hey,
that's right.
There's a Cutting Edge too.
Oh, I'm sure that was probably straight to video.
Can't wait till you see I, Tanya 2.
Buddy. God, no. There's 3 of them. There's 3 Cutting Edge. No, 4. See? Oh my God.
See, Cutting Edge has got to be number 1.
My brother in Christ, what is happening here?
Well, it's Cutting Edge. Do you think I, Tanya 2 is her, like, just on World's Dumbest Criminals and, being arrested for throwing hubcaps at people, maybe getting 86 from one of my dad's bars? Because all those things happen.
Did your dad do it?
Yeah.
Oh, your dad was the one who did it?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, moving from, like, Estacada up to, I think she lives in Ridgefield now?
I think so, yeah. Which is actually...
Ridgefield?
That's
on the come up.
That's an improvement.
It's on the come up.
I still remember when all that stuff broke too. She was living in an apartment in Beaverton, about a half mile from my house, and pulling up.
Wasn't it right next to Beaverton?
Valley. It was. She lived in off of Jameson, across from Valley Plaza. Yeah, and just seeing all the news vans parked outside there. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, well.
And shots.
Jeff Gillooly is what's going on.
Yeah.
Jeff Gillooly and Tanya Harding. What was the bodyguard's name? Gillooly was the husband.
Shane something. I believe it also started with an S.
Yeah.
Shane, or no, Eckhart? Eckhart?
Yeah.
There we go.
Sean Eckhart.
Okay, yes. That does not start with an S. Eckhart. But anyway, Shane, Sean.
Simpson, Swanson, Samsonite.
Yeah.
The casting that they did for Sean was in I, Tanya.
Yeah.
I was way flawless.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to find a big, round, fat dude.
Not just that, he looked just like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't happen all that often.
Do you think he's going to play like Ken Bone later? Because he kind of had a Ken Bone look.
He does.
Remember Ken Bone?
When he gets older, he could do a Ken Bone.
Remember Ken Bone when he was doing the town hall and everybody's like, look at this guy in the red sweater. And then they found his social medias and were like, this guy's into some weird stuff.
We talking? Is that the basketball coach?
No.
No, Jeopardy.
No.
Different Ken Bone?
Not Jeopardy.
Oh, no.
He was at town hall for a presidential election. And he was he asked the hard hitting questions and people were like, we love Ken Bone. And then
he had the bow tie.
They found his Reddit stream or his Reddit comments and his social media was all,
he got milkshake duck.
That dude likes some dark corners of the internet.
Yeah.
Like his fetishes are not normal people's. Just put Let's end it there.
I had Ken Jennings' head and face in my head, but
oh,
not
sure. Yeah.
the
Not
bow tie,
Ken Bone.
round face
Yeah.
town hall guy. Yeah.
And then the basketball coach, he got a lot of it. A lot of strays coming his way in the wake of that.
That'll happen.
That's
It's
talking.
quite the mix-up.
That's talking Ken Bone.
All right.
And we're moving on.
All right.
All right. Everybody have a good Wednesday so far? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm
Here we are.
doing
Something.
okay.
We're here.
There's a Cybertruck in my neighborhood.
Is
Not in my neighborhood.
Is it the meat one?
In the area.
In the area, in somewhere between where Jeff Russ lives and where I live, somebody owns a Cybertruck.
Yeah, because I just saw
it's not
one in
the
the
meat
wild
one.
for the first time the other day.
The meat one. What?
It's one that has like a wrap of like deli meats.
Oh, no. This one's like goldish, bronzish.
Yeah.
It looks like it might be rusting.
I saw one in the wild for the first time 2 weeks ago. Driving around with my wife, and it passed with traffic. It was very slow. It was right alongside us. My wife stopped and just goes, "What the hell is that thing?"
Let's be honest. This is why we need to discuss the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's awful
hideous.
looking. It is. I don't know why anybody's like, "Yep, want one of
It's
those."
not even like cool for like the futuristic idea. It looks dumb.
It looks like something a 4-year-old designed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks dumb.
Which, I guess. I mean,
And look, I only have experience with. I've seen 2 out in the wild. One lives near me.
mhm.
The other one I saw on my way down to Eugene on Saturday, cruising down I-5. Not good drivers.
Probably
We had
not.
left lane hogger on
Are they
on
using the
I-5.
autopilot?
Probably. But dude, you got to get over it. Get your butt
Right?
over it. There's a stream of cars passing him on the right.
Mm-hmm.
The one in our area, Mr. Rust,
Mm-hmm.
not a great driver
Probably
at
not.
all.
Yeah.
He's like a lot of like trying to figure out how to control that big block that
Uh-huh.
he is of metal he is driving. I'm out on Cybertrucks. And then I saw Tyson Alger of the I-5 corridor had a tweet where he saw one out in the wild
Mm-hmm.
at a gas station.
Oh. I remember that tweet. Yes, still trying to figure out how that charging station works.
Yeah. He was at a gas station
Where do I put this?
in his Cybertruck.
They're electric only, aren't they? They're not hybrid, are they?
You hit that one right on the head
Well, I mean,
there.
like
it's
some
it's
of them-
Elon Musk.
Not much gets past you, huh?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just saying, like,
Elon Musk.
they didn't have like an option, right?
I mean, it was a good clarifying question. And no, there's not an option.
this has gone viral.
Why do people buy them?
Well, at an auto show
awful.
right now, a major Chinese car company has a Cybertruck knockoff, and it's a carbon copy. They went full on Temu.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a
But why? They look like what the road like Mad Max. They look like what the Road Warriors just were like, no, we don't want this anymore. Like we thought about it. Nope, not good.
Yeah. See, I didn't get to
They're
see him.
Atrocious looking.
I didn't get to see him do much driving as he only turned left in front of me as I was leaving the Center of Quality Foods. But I had 2 things that went through my head. The first one was, did he get the gas pedal fixed? And thought number 2 was, as he locked eyes with me, I was just like, what a putz.
Right. Yeah.
it is the Dongfeng.
Excuse
Can
me?
do I need to hit the dump button?
What's it called?
Dongfeng.
That's the name of the Cybertruck knockoff?
Yep.
Awful looking.
Yep.
Here's where
They found a way to make it look dumber.
here's a text. Polarizing doesn't equal dumb. Next time you see one, check out the windshield wiper. Absolute unit. Absolute unit of a windshield wiper. Now, hold on.
If we singular wiper,
If we are buying our vehicles based on the windshield wiper, we are in a bad place in our world. It looks atrocious. We have another one that says, I drove by one and changed my mind. They're badass. What about it?
who gave their phone to their China?
I don't trust your judgment.
That it was designed by somebody with a protractor? Like, is that what we were doing here? Like, they were just like,
Remember, their tailgate was chopping off fingers at first.
We're
so.
only going at 40. What?
Oh yeah, no, their tailgate had an issue with little choppity chop.
It was taking people's fingies off, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what's Uncle Nubs? What'd you call him? Uncle Spud.
Spud McKenzie.
Uncle Spud. Jeff's Uncle Stub over there.
Uncle Nubs.
Nubs, yeah. Uncle Spud. Yeah. Uncle Spud. Maybe Maybe he was just too early on the Cybertruck. He lost his in a washing machine accident, though.
I think it was a dryer, but regardless,
Sorry.
it was laundry adjacent.
Sorry. Well, Uncle Spud lost his digits close in a dryer.
I'm not ever gonna be able to forget Uncle Nubs now.
Was I that far off?
No, I mean,
Was I that far off? I mean, he
that's
lost
not-
fingers. I mean, he's got some nubs there. Which if you do lose a digit or two, Stubbs is a great nickname. Nubs is a great nickname. Or Spud?
Spud.
Spud.
Yeah.
Spud.
I had to derail this for a moment just because
Sure.
of what I just saw. I've got the Cardinals and Tigers game up, and I believe it was their pitcher was walking off the field. He has a mock turtleneck,
Tiger.
but it doesn't have sleeves.
Tiger. Even more Tiger.
I don't understand what's happening. Like
That's
it's a
what
mock turtleneck, but like the sleeves are just the baseball jersey sleeves.
Are we sure
like
it's not just even a dickie?
Ooh. Maybe he's a big Cousin Eddie fan.
it's got like the Tigers logo like on the
Yeah.
collar. It's
Well,
it's a choice. It looks very weird.
He's got a cold neck, but he wants the breathability of his lower arms. You know, can't blame him for that.
That's super weird, right?
Well, it's the same. Like he's wearing a mock turtleneck to begin with. I
Yeah.
mean, what are we doing? We're
You're not wrong.
gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna knock him for not having sleeves on that thing. No, he's wearing a mock turtleneck. That's where the weirdness begins.
Yeah. I knew a guy used to wear the Nike headband around his neck.
It's
That's weird.
That's a choice.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
It's like what's
Was it
happening here?
you?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Sounds like maybe he should have tried one of the wristbands.
Ooh,
Cut off the air a little bit.
just a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was just like, but yeah,
This guy's like a super. Maybe he's got a sweaty neck.
but mock turtleneck with no sleeves. Is that a power move? Or is that I mean, what are we doing? What are we calling that?
Yeah, it says
It's
that
a move.
Yeah, it says that it's early. It's an early spring fashion look, right? Where it's warm enough, but it's still too cold
Yeah.
to just let your neck breathe. I don't know. Merton Hanks. Maybe did he have a long neck? Was he like Merton Hanks?
Oh, you know that's entirely fair. When you have giraffe neck,
Yep.
and that's a lot more that is exposed to the
Yeah.
elements.
It
That's
says, I want to keep my neck warm, but I still like to party.
That's right.
You've got an Adam's apple the length
Yeah.
of your forearm.
Like my dad was way out ahead of the Bill Belichick cutting his sleeves off his sweatshirts. He did it like in the 80s, I remember, and he always used to say it gets in the way of his business. Just moving around.
The cuffs. Yeah.
You want the sweatshirt, you want the heftiness of the sweatshirt, but you can't let it get in the way of your business.
I mean, I get it.
In business, you got to be able to move those hands.
As someone who's literally wearing pants right now who has them pulled up above his ankles, I get the not having the things around.
Bingo.
I don't like that feeling.
Bingo, bango,
It's-
bongo.
It's one thing to have it like further up the leg or further up the arm, but to have it be at the wrist or at the ankle, I don't like it.
Yeah.
The,
So
the,
just
re- the restriction at the joint.
feel like
lopped him off.
I feel like there's a whole incarcerated population that doesn't like having things around their ankles.
You're talking ankle cuffs.
Yeah.
Ankle
Yeah.
monitors.
Mon-
Yeah, that's where I was going.
I see. Yeah, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. It's too early for this, Jeff.
I don't like it on my skin.
It's way too early for this. All right, we've got sports show today. You ready?
No.
Okay.
Let's go.
Dion is doing weird stuff.
Oh my God.
Dion is on the internet today, and it's not going well
It
for
has
him or Colorado.
escalated quickly.
Yes.
And are we seeing the tides turn on Dion today? Like today, it may be the day that the tides start turning on old Deion Sanders and his tenure at the University of Colorado. Not that anything's going to happen because, well, he brings millions of dollars to the University of Colorado. But
For now.
we'll digest that. We've got a ton of NBA playoffs that we need to get to. The Chargers were going to trade Justin Herbert. That's a story today.
Huh?
Yeah. But where we got to start this bad boy off, two teams faced elimination last night. Both of them fended off that elimination. Tyrese Maxey goes crazy. The Knicks dribble one down their leg. And then you have the Milwaukee Bucks, Algonquin for the good land,
Indeed.
taking out the Indiana Pacers without their two stars.
In historic fashion.
It actually
It actually
was.
is.
That's where we'll start. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Hey guys, it is back. The 10th annual Fan Golf Classic is returning. Ottotown GMC presents the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms. Thursday, July 11th, morning and afternoon rounds available for you to choose from. Tickets are on sale. You'll enjoy unique fan golf experience you've come to expect. We got food, bevies going all around. Warm up for your round on the Michelob Ultra driving range. Dirt and Sprague, you and I, Isaac and Suk, all broadcasting live from the course on July 11th. And look, we're going to be out on the par 3 clown hole there. The 6th hole where everybody knows what one this is. It's got the big mound on it.
We're back there again?
We're back there again.
I love it.
And it's brought to you by Doers.
Ooh.
Let's go. 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic will fill up fast. Go to 1080thefan.com. Get your foursomes together. Let's go party. July 11th, Ottotown GMC presents the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Course.
It is once again my goal to drink them out of tequila.
Okay. Yep. Everybody's got to have their goals, you know.
It happens.
You're goal-oriented, and that is a good thing.
Yep.
That is a good thing.
Hopefully we get the weather we got last year.
It is July, so that is officially summer.
Yeah.
It's after the 4th of July.
But it was
right?
it had the nice little break of cloud cover.
Yeah. It
was perfect.
We've
last
had
year.
it like 98, just sweltering heat. But it was a nice little day yesterday.
In the words of Bill Withers, it was a lovely day.
Yeah.
It really
Indeed.
was. All right, let's talk about the historic way the Milwaukee Bucks dismantled the Indiana Pacers last night.
Indeed. And for those that are wondering what's historic about it, is the first time in NBA playoff history a team has won a playoff game without both of their top scorers.
Ooh.
And that happens when you get 14 of 24 from Bobby Portis, 9 of 20 from Chris Middleton, and God, I hate saying this, 13 and 12 from one Patrick Beverley.
Pat Bev was feeling himself yesterday.
He was dropping the too small on everyone.
Everyone.
And
Everyone, and all of them taller than him.
Yes, and everyone was too small, and the only one who was talking more than him during the game was the Bucks fan behind the TNT broadcast, who went in from the start of the game until the final horn. The Bucks need to get that guy to Indiana for the next game because he was talking trash. PG related.
Paul George?
No.
Oh.
Parental guidance gently suggested.
Okay. Yeah.
Did not cross the line once, but he was just a Rolodex of Twitter callouts.
It was in, your head worder.
Oh God, it was fantastic. There was one line where Halliburton was getting ready to get swung the ball, and he goes, "Don't worry, he'll miss it. He sucks." Clank, and it was just perfect comedic timing. It was just he was doing the basketball gods' work yesterday. But on the court, everyone for the Bucks showed up. And it wasn't like an incredibly wild shooting variance night. They're 11 of 29 from 3. Like they didn't go crazy. But on the flip side, the Pacers, while hitting 12 threes, they took 38. They shot 31.6%. And you had some subpar performances across the board where, Siakaman's about 12, Nembhard 12, Halliburton 16. Nobody on their team scored more than 20 points.
Well, the stat of the playoffs is still safe. 14 or more three-pointers will win you a game.
And neither team crossed that bar.
No team yesterday crossed that bar, except for, did Philly? I think maybe Philly. Did Philly get 14? Yeah, 15 to 39. So it still holds true that if you've made 14 or more three-pointers in a game, you are undefeated in the playoffs. How much of that we chalking up to as well, though, Indiana with a 3-1 series lead, maybe taking their eye off the prize a little bit. Without Giannis, without Dame, you're on the road. Mm-hmm. You still have an opportunity, Game 6, to close this thing out. Yeah,
I think that's going to be important. It's going to be a lot easier for the role players to close things out at home. But mess around and find out.
Well, I really think it's Doc Rivers' pep talk of, I've been through 3-1 series leads several times where a team has come back and won a series down 3-1.
Which is insane to think about because it happens less than 5% of the time, and he's been involved in multiple.
Yeah. On the bad side.
On the bad side.
On the bad side.
Yeah.
So he knows what it takes.
That would be hilarious if they came back.
I would
if
love
he's
it.
the coach of the team that comes back from one.
I would
Be
love
quite
it.
the little redemption story.
I would love it if he just signed, Gerald Henderson to the rest of the playoffs just to break somebody's hand on his rock solid buns,
Right.
like it happened to the Clippers.
It happens.
Gerald Henderson's rock hard buns broke Chris Paul's hand, and the Clippers were never the same.
The question was asked in the postgame, can Giannis or Damian Lillard possibly come back?
No. Strong no. Like, yeah, no.
Oh.
Not actually Doc Rivers. He actually said that they're both very, very, very close. I will go full sources close to the situation tell me that they're both doing round the clock treatment and they're doing everything they can to get ready, but it will be highly unlikely.
Well, we got Game 6 will be on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then if it comes to Game 7, I think we're looking at Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday? Yeah. Yeah, Thursday or Saturday. Okay. If
They're both going to try.
if tomorrow is out, is Saturday an opportunity? Yeah, is that feasible? Because I mean, look, both of them have Achilles or calf injuries.
Achilles adjacent injury. I mean, Dame's is an Achilles injury.
It's an
flat
Achilles
out.
strain, is what
Yeah.
they're calling it.
And Giannis is a soleus strain, which is what pulls on your Achilles, which is something you have to worry about. When I talked to Dame, he flat out said, "I just got to feel good.
Just got to feel good.
I just got to feel good." And he's said he's flat out doing round the clock PT,
Okay.
like just trying to get ready, but he's gonna do everything he can.
All right.
He knows that these opportunities are finite, and if he can go, he will.
That was last night also, as much as it was like you looked at an Indiana team that they just kind of looked uncomfortable, disjointed throughout the course of that game.
You don't know how, like, the expectation and the pressure that comes with those situations.
But as much as it was that, I thought Bobby Portis played his ass off.
I mean,
it looked like that ejection, he took that personally and came back. And like, we could, like, and I am way on the side of like, okay, you took it personally. Well, way to go. But
there are guys that
it
take
was a
those
little
chips
bit
and-
of drive, and he looked like a man on a mission last night, as much as Pat Bev did too. And it looked like Chris Middleton, like he's been grinding through this playoffs. He's got an ankle injury that he's been battling, and he looked pretty damn good last night too.
Middleton's averaging, I think the last I looked, 27,
Crazy.
7, and 5 on 50, 38, 90 splits, basically on one leg. Like, he needed that help. He needed Pat Beverly. So Pat Bev had, what he finished with, I think 13. All of those points came in the second quarter. But you know what that meant? Middleton didn't have to put the pedal down
Yeah.
for an entire quarter.
Yeah.
He could sit back, and this is an insane thing to say.
Pacing.
Pat Beverly in high school was a electric scorer, but he knew that to make it to the NBA, he needed to be on the other side of the ball.
What is absolutely insane, and people like they refuse to admit it. Every single one of those guys that are in the NBA can shoot the lights out. And if you were to be in a gym with a 7-footer that you think has the worst shot ever, you would walk out of there and just be like, that was the most incredible performance I've ever seen.
Kendrick Perkins averaged, I want to say, 38 and 16 in high school.
Yeah. Watching them shoot and just shoot with nobody in front of them.
It's disgusting.
It's crazy.
It's disgusting.
It's just, it is, and everybody that says they don't play defense in the NBA, just watch.
Try to get by one of these guys.
I wish that you could watch what these guys do when nobody is in front of them.
Yeah.
Because it is net. Graze the rim, but still goes in.
Yep.
Net. And they're incredible. They are incredible. And when you can get an effort like Pat Bev for a quarter, and that's a little Denver Nuggets-y, right? Where like
Put the
you'll
pedal
have
down and then be like, all right, that's enough.
yeah, but where it's like Michael Porter Jr. will have a big second quarter and they can tread some water. Jokic comes on in the third quarter in that second half, and you can see that slow build up, and then Jamal Murray just rips your throat out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they put the foot down. In the second quarter, it was 30-17, and this third quarter was 34-19. I mean, it was done.
Yeah. But that wasn't even the most impressive win of the night. Actually, the other two games were bananas.
Yes.
Evan Mobley, I don't know if anybody saw this because we're
What
not
a
going to really
play.
talk about the Magic and the Cavaliers.
But what a play.
That series is living up to being the most competitive, and we finally had a road team score over 90 points.
Hey!
Hey!
Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
The Magic lose 104-103, but Evan Mobley run down block off the backboard on a potential game winner for Orlando. It was one of the more impressive recoveries and plays that you will see because I don't even remember who drove. Is Franz Wagner. Gets him on his hip. It looks like, oh no.
Yeah.
And he just goes, go, gadget arm, boom, off the
Flips his
backboard.
hips and just chases it down. It was insane.
It was wild. And that was a great finish to a really competitive and fun game last night, Orlando and Cleveland. It's just like, it's not getting much love. It's competitive. It's 3-2 right now.
It's a really good series.
The home team has won every single game. And I hope that what this means is like with Orlando scoring over 100, I hope this means that maybe the road teams, we start seeing them duke it out a little bit better and we have more of these competitive fights. But the one that's stealing all the headlines, and rightfully so, Jon Stewart looked lost because New York got their hearts ripped out by one Tyrese Maxey. That after Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.95 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, 2 more first-round games tonight in the NBA playoffs. Celtics holding a 3-1 series lead, hosting the Heat. No Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez Jr., or Terry Rozier for Miami. Kristaps Porzingis is out for Boston. 4:30 tip on TNT. The Celtics are 14.5-point favorites. In the nightcap, coverage of Game 5 of the Mavericks and Clippers from L.A. starts at 6:30 over on 910 ESPN Portland. Luka Doncic didn't do much in shoot-around this morning, still dealing with an illness, and he said if it were a regular season game, he probably would not play. Kawhi Leonard out for Los Angeles. Tip around 7 o'clock on TNT. The Mavericks are 2.5-point road favorites. ESPN reporting the Broncos will not pick up the fifth-year option on quarterback Zach Wilson for the 2025 season. It would have been a guaranteed almost $22.5 million. On the diamond, the Mariners looking for a sweep of the Braves before hitting the road for a 7-game trip. Emerson Hancock on the bump for Seattle. Chris Sale for Atlanta. First pitch coming up in just a few minutes over on Root Sports. And the Winterhawks hosting Prince George tonight at the VMC in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, up 2-1. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan merch locker is now open with shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Fred Meyer for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Fred Meyer worth it every time. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
That was a call on TNT last night as the Philadelphia 76ers erase a 6-point deficit with 28.6 seconds to go in the ball game. Thanks to Tyrese Maxey going crazy. They go to overtime and end up holding off the Knicks 112-106 and actually erased another 5-point deficit in overtime as well.
Yeah, I had to step out for a few minutes last night, and I came back from barbecuing and looked at the score bug, and it said 5-0 in overtime. I go, well, because once you get 5, usually if you run off 5-0, the numbers behind that in overtime, it's like you're done.
Wrong. Tyrese Maxey had other things in mind.
Unbelievable. It finishes with 46 and 9 on 17 of 30. He joins Damian Lillard as the only players in NBA playoff history with 45 or more points, 7 or more threes, 9 or more assists.
Sets the opposing player scoring mark in Madison Square Garden too, overtaking one Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
It's kind of weird that 46 is the number. I mean, again, it's not that it's like a low number, but it's also I thought it would be higher, but then I remembered, the Knicks weren't in the playoffs for a really long time.
Yeah, and it's only opposing players too.
Yeah.
But 46, he put on a show, and man, like we were talking about this yesterday heading into the game, Joel Embiid looked really worn down at the end of game 4? Mm-hmm. At the end of game 4, he was dragging, man. And so they needed Tyrese Maxey to step up, and the question was, who else is it going to be? And we got a little bit out of Tobias Harris, huh? Yeah. Toby finally showed up.
Shockingly, Tobias Harris contributes. They look better.
Hey!
Weird.
Imagine that.
Both him and Oubre both had solid games. They really didn't get much from anyone else. Kyle Lowry obviously was entirely useless. That happened. Big old goose egg up on the board. Well, you're not counting on Lowry to score, but also
it's Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. So, like, are we forgetting what Toronto Raptor Kyle Lowry was in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's crazy though.
It's probably what gets him into the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But he also has laid massive eggs when they got bounced from their championship run. He was amazing. It was also like, remember when they send off DeMar DeRozan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, why'd you get rid of the guy who can actually play in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well,
and then
Kyle Lowry went crazy in that postseason where they ended up winning a championship with Kawhi.
And you trust his veteran presence, but yeah, the margins are slim. I mean, Batum plays 33, only gives you 8 last night. You're relying on Campaign to knock down a couple threes, which is always terrifying. But KJ Martin has been unplayable. Anthony Melton's still dealing with injuries. Buddy Hield is getting DNPs, which is just insane to think about.
Especially when you need shooting, like you need somebody to provide that spark for you.
So, but I mean. It is what it is at this point in time.
And now you may be looking at it, though. Nick Nurse may be playing chess when Tom Thibodeau's playing checkers because 3 players, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby, all will log over 50 minutes in that we were talking like 46, 44, and 43 for those guys in Game 4. Game 5, they all run over 50 minutes, and now you're looking at it as are the legs of the New York Knicks late game situations maybe going to be starting to catch up with them?
I thought it was interesting is that Knicks team, they hustle, they scrap, they fight, they claw, and that's how they stayed kind of in that, and they kept pushing the lead out in overtime. Both teams were dead. I mean, it was ugly, nasty, throwback 90s basketball. That's what it wasn't like, look at the skill on display. It was, oh God, these guys are going to keel over and die. Like that's
so fun though.
That's
what 7-game series bring.
And the thing that was interesting, somebody on Twitter yesterday was like, I can't believe Embiid's playing with no heart. And I'm like, playing with no heart? He's 7 foot tall, 320 plus pounds. He's probably 350, dragging his massive body up and down the court for 40 plus minutes on one leg. Seeing double teams all game long. And it's like, he's tired. Like, we look at Jokic and we're just like, that's normal for a big man. No, this is what big men look like after 50 bleeping minutes. Like, for him to play the level that he did, I'm not trying to, he played like crap with the turnovers. It was awful. But yeah, a human being that big is going to wear down. That's the point. Like, that's the trade-off. It's like, yeah, when the tank hits E on those guys, there's no like, we'll get there on fumes. When he hit the floor for that loose ball and came up with it, I was like, wow. I didn't think he had that in him because I thought he was done. Did you think that there was anything in the flagrant foul on Brunson? Because there was a lot of selling going on.
I feel
from
like
both parties.
what we have in the last 4 days
Mm-hmm.
of the playoffs is the overcorrection from officials again, trying to take control back over the games. Right, we saw it in Milwaukee with Portis getting ejected, and we had quick double T's in the was it the Clippers Mavericks game where we had quick double T's where you're just sitting there like, what is happening right now?
You had Obi Toppin suplex Pat Bev yesterday, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that it is.
Walked out of there with just a T too. I was like,
but I feel like we're having officials maybe try to grab control again, and I don't think even game 1s or 2s of the opening round. I don't know if that was a flagrant foul.
Hey, look, if you want to call it a flagrant, it's fine. But Knicks fans, because of Embiid did have a dirty play on Mitchell Robinson, like that was a thing 2 games ago. He probably should have been ejected for that. But it was like he intentionally hit Brunson. I'm like, no, the 7-foot, 320-pound monster bit on the pump fake, and he's too bleeping tired, and he just dropped his big giant arm on his face.
And anytime though you have contact with the head or neck area is what they always say. And Secaucus, as they go and look at it, Secaucus.
Like, oh my God, the 6-foot guy got hit in the head by the 7'1" guy. Like, it's gonna happen, bud.
I mean, it's a hard. Is it a hard foul? Yeah.
But I thought he just dropped his arm trying to get a block. I didn't think there was anything extra in it, but they're going to drive up they're going to juice up all the stuff between these two teams.
Yeah,
that's the way it's going to be, and the Knicks fans are going to roll into Philadelphia, just like they have been.
Do you think a game like that, when you lose in that fashion, though, the lingering effects of it? I mean, they're down 3-1. You've given them a little bit of life. They get to go back home. They're going to have a little bit more comfort there, even though you stole home court from them. The last time you guys played in Philly, right? Mm-hmm. Are we going to see maybe this door? It kind of is like Doc Rivers Clippers-esque, right? Where everything is rolling your way. You are the higher seed. Like, you are the team that just needs to take care of your business at home, and you can walk into the conference semifinals. And then you have a game like that where you blow a 6-point lead with 28.6 seconds to go.
Yeah,
and then do it again in overtime.
The stat was that it's the first team that's blown that lead in NBA history, playoff history, with that much time remaining. Yeah. So,
and
it was like a 98% because the Reggie Miller obviously did it too.
And you got 40. Knicks. You got 40 out of Brunson. Yeah. You got 40 out of Brunson in that game. I mean, Brunson and Maxey put on a show.
Do you see where apparently for Game 6, Josh Harris is buying 2,000 tickets to distribute to like first responders and healthcare professionals and whatnot?
That's cool. That also keeps the Knicks fans out of the house.
Is it NYPD and NYFD?
Yeah,
right.
Is that?
There was somebody on Twitter earlier was like, yeah, I sold my Knicks, my 76ers playoff tickets to a Knicks fan for $900. I'll be sending them my fan energy from the bar. And I was like, well, I get it.
That'd still come out $800 on top.
You know?
You haven't been to the bar lately, man. It's getting hard in the pocketbook now. It's getting hard out there for folks. All right, 503-864-6326. We'll have more NBA as this show rolls on. We only got 2 games tonight. This is what happens, and we have a potential elimination game as the Celtics can put a bow on the Miami Heat season and have them packing for Cancun. And then we got the Clippers Mavs, all even at 2 apiece as they head back to Staples Center, Crypto.com arena.
So dumb.
Head back to Staples Center.
There you go.
We're going to keep it going for their game 5 tonight.
Let's just go back to the Forum, huh?
Well, it's gone.
Well, Intuit, they're saying that people are just going to call it the Forum.
Yeah.
The new Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
Even though I am pro calling it Dome.
Yeah. Call it the Forum Dome?
Yeah.
That doesn't roll off the tongue. But I want to bring back like calling things like names as opposed to sponsors.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
That was unique. It was good. In Moda's, when is that naming rights done? I thought they
re-upped for a couple years ago.
They did?
Yeah.
Man. We need to bring back Dome. I'm wearing my Astrodome shirt,
Yeah.
which to some people watching on youtube.com/1080am The Fan, maybe the TRO is blocked out by my microphone.
And it might be a place where you
What would that
pick
leave
up
it
a
to?
lot of things.
Yeah, what would that leave it to say then, Dusty?
Coming up next, we can't take you guys anywhere, man. Really can't.
Look, you brought it up.
A great a great moment yesterday in the world of baseball. Next on The Fan. This is exactly what I'm talking about with Blades of Glory. Should have gone wrestling. You know?
You're not wrong, like really leaning into it.
Chaz Michael McMichaels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right. Last night, the world of baseball was taken by what is only things that happen in baseball. How many times have we had a situation like what played out last night in Arizona between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers?
Quite a scene here at Chase Field. You're looking live at a bee colony that has established a foothold high atop the backstop behind home plate, and thus we remain in a bee delay.
I love how he describes it as like militaristic terms of like it's established a foothold on the beachhead.
Yeah, that guy
Like,
is.
like this is Normandy.
He is eyeing a CNN correspondent, war reporter role very soon.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm coming for your job, Geraldo. he wants to be on boots on the
Yeah,
ground.
live in Beirut.
We had a beehive.
Right now he's just full
Take
Brian
him.
Williams.
Damn. People don't forget. But any other sport, we don't have. Well, I guess we had a bat delay in San Antonio. When a bat, remember when the bat was going loose? And,
Manu grabbed the bat and knocked
Yeah.
it down. Of course it was Manu. They also had snakes in the lockers when the Blazers were there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having snakes in the lockers. No, whose locker was that again? Was that
Oh God, it was one of the kids.
I can't
Was
remember.
it, was it Bayless?
Maybe
I think
that
it
sounds
might have been
about
Bayless.
right.
It was one of the young guys. I remember that.
And he was like, I don't want to go back in
He's
there.
like,
I was like, I don't blame you.
No,
don't go back
He
in
had
there.
garter snakes on the waterfront. They had like rat snakes in the locker in San Antonio.
Nope, I'm out. But they ended up having to call in a beekeeper.
From
Hero of the day, Matt Hilton is his name, and he has lived it up. They were chanting MVP. They were playing I Need a Hero, and he was that hero. He got the place cleared. And just a moment ago, he threw out the ceremonial first pitch. They just announced that he's going to be available for interviews in the press box at 8:45. Matt Hilton, 37-year-old father of 4, movie star, good looks, now a superstar.
Did you hear they had him mic'd up? Did you hear that?
No.
Bees to the stars! Bees everywhere! God, they're huge! They're ripping my flesh off!
Son, roll around. Did you hear me? Roll around on the ground.
Forget that! I'm starting to swell up! Save yourself! Don't be the hero!
Frank, I'm allergic to bees. Me too.
They're huge and they sting crazy!
We'll come back later and check on you. Yeah, I don't want.
Save yourself! Your firearms are useless against them!
Holy shnikes, it worked.
What was interesting about the whole
I
bee
love
process?
Tommy Boy so much.
So much of it is just
It's
all
so
gold.
dumb, yeah. And that all had to be ad lib too.
Holy
there's
shnikes,
no
it
way.
worked.
It's just no way.
Your firearms are useless against them.
Your firearms are useless against them!
Holy shnikes, it worked.
The beekeeper, as it were, him showing up and like having all of his like beekeeper tools, like he did like the whole smoke thing, and then you know what he ended up doing to get rid of him? Shop vac. Just sucked them all up.
Well,
Well, then
Don't they use,
Well,
like,
then how do you get rid of them? Do you go from suck to blow?
Yes.
it sucks and cuts at the same time. It sure does suck.
It sure does suck.
But don't they have to calm them with like? Don't they use smoke
Yeah, that's what I say. He
Like a
just,
little fog, like it-
smoked them and then
and then just
shot back.
go right on in there?
I don't know what made him call it. I mean, it's probably like, there's a queen up there. It's probably what happened. But why?
Yeah, because baseball. Like
Yeah.
this is what baseball does. I'm telling you guys, this summer it's going to be awesome for baseball because we've already got ridiculous storylines.
Great storylines.
John Kruk is already telling stories about playing Mexican prison baseball. You've got bees overtaking fields.
There's more on
and it's May
Ippei,
1st.
too.
It's May 1st. Oh,
We'll
the
get to that later. Yeah, there's-
Ippei Mizuhara,
there's-
the
there's-
Shohei's.
Oh, buddy. The investigation has revealed things.
And the more that comes out, the more I am going, nah, Ohtani actually is clean because believe me,
Yeah.
if everybody is going down in this, casinos are going down in this now.
It's bad.
It's getting gnarly.
Yeah. They're basically stealing money from Shohei.
Yeah, they were.
And they knew it.
And they absolutely knew it. But the beekeeper, you are the MVP.
Yeah. He looks like
Crazy dudes.
the Hollywood Cannibal, Army Hammer.
The beekeeper guy did?
Yeah, kind of looks like Army Hammer.
The guy who wanted to eat his girlfriends?
Yeah. Well,
Like quite literally
the Hollywood Cannibal.
wanted flesh to
Not gonna lie,
eat.
it's kind of a dope name.
That's not.
It is. Like as far as like
What, Army Hammer?
well, I mean, yes, but also the
No,
Hollywood
Hollywood
Cannibal,
Cannibal.
as far as
Oh.
like if you're talking about like being like an absolute lunatic who's despised for awful things, like Jack the Ripper, great name. It's a great tagline.
Now,
Hollywood Cannibal, pretty good nickname.
But here's the thing with our old Hollywood Cannibal there. He's not going to prison, but he's also not ever going to work again.
He doesn't have to. Doesn't he come from like DuPont money?
Well, no, the Arm & Hammer.
Is it Arm & Hammer?
He's from the baking soda.
I mean, that's got to be the reason his name is literally Arm and Hammer, Armand Hammer.
I'm just trying to think of, I like, you're naming him, so that'd be like if I was like Casino Hera. You're just really leaning into what the famous aspect of your family and just being like, you know what? I'm gonna really dive into this one here.
It's like if my first name was French and my middle name was Pie.
Yeah, that's right. You would be Lemon. You'd be Lemon Meringue. That's where you would have to be. You know what? I think that you are like a South American baseball player, Lemon Meringue,
with a little accent above
the
E. Yes,
yeah, Lemon Meringue. He's a sharp hitting second baseman there. That Lemon Meringue.
Now, this is by no means a complete history here, and this is just from a quick skimming of his Wikipedia. I don't know that it's the Arm & Hammer fortune.
I was kidding.
Well, no, I thought it was like for real.
But his family just really did lean into Arm & Hammer.
His father, Michael Armand Hammer, owned several businesses. One of which was called Armand Hammer Productions.
Oh,
His parents were Russian immigrants to the U.S. from the Russian Empire, born in Odessa. Early activist in the U.S. Communist Party in New York was his father.
Oh. Wait. Early activist? How old are his parents?
This is Armand.
Are you on his grandfather's?
Hammer, his paternal great-grandfather was oil tycoon and philanthropist Armand Hammer.
And
that's the one.
There we go. Oil money.
Yeah. So
Oh, and it was Armand. So that Armand father, his great-grandfather, it was his father, Julius Hammer. That was the early activist.
That is an awesome name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jules Hammer.
Dude, Julius Hammer is the best basketball player of all time.
Jules Hammer.
Because Dr. J, slamming dunks, Julius Hammer.
He's got a great-grand-uncle and also a younger brother named Victor Hammer.
Not as good. Vic Hammer?
Vic Hammer's pretty bad.
Vic Hammer's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty badass, dude. Like
Victor, no. Vic
Hammer?
Vic Hammer?
Yeah.
Vic Hammer definitely does some side jumps for the mob.
Victor Hammer has a monocle.
Yes, he does. And a scar.
Yeah.
A scar
he's like
over his eye.
Yeah, he's like an Indiana Jones villain.
Yeah, the expose on...
Turns out Armie Hammer kind of is a villain.
Yeah. The expose on his family says, wild family history includes a $180 million fortune, New York City's biggest art scandal, and a 1955 murder.
Oh, so wanting to be a cannibal is pretty low on that list.
Well, if you go, this isn't exclusively to him thing. It's his family.
Eats people?
Did you ever watch the doc?
No.
Oh, buddy.
I don't care enough about Armie Hammer.
No. Mm-mm. It doesn't matter about Armie Hammer. It's the insanity that ensues. You gotta cozy up with the wife one night and watch that doc. That is
Dad,
I'm telling you.
I think you're misreading what my wife's interests are.
She likes she's not a crime doc?
No.
No? Oh.
Uh-uh.
Thank God you're lucky.
Oh, I don't want to tell you about the doc my wife was watching the other day on Netflix because it's the lunch hour.
That was Doc, right?
Doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was it? You can't just leave us with that.
It was something about gut health.
Oh, yeah. My wife watched the preview for that, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Last time we watched a nutritional doc, she became a vegan. So I'm out on those. We're not watching any more of those.
Let's put it this way. 2 words. Fecal transplant.
Carry the one.
Transplant out or in?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're transplanting it from one place, I'm assuming one person to another.
These people were doing their own homemade poop pills.
Okay.
And you don't want to know how they did it. It's, again, like I said, it's the lunch hour.
All right. All right. Vic Hammerl is a lawyer and will get you out of anything. That's actually very true.
My name's Vic Hammer, and I guarantee it.
Yeah, his office is right next door to Vern Fong.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's good. He'll chase down your ambulance no matter where you're going.
Right there on 217 and Greenberg Road.
That's right.
That man has been there, just saddled in for a while.
Wow. All right, let's get to hour number 2 because it already is hour number 2. The Chargers were going to do what next on the Fan?
Hey, it's Isaac Ropp. See
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. Whether it's on 1080 AM, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, youtube.com/1080am The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080am The Fan. Welcome, everybody. Hey, again, want to get this out there. Autotown GMC presents the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic, Langdon Farms Golf Club. Go sign up, get registered at 1080thefan.com. It'll be July 11th out at Langdon Farms. So get your team signed up. Spots will be going pretty fast. With the NFL draft in the rearview mirror, and we have a couple days for everything to kind of, for the dust to settle, we're starting to hear a little bit more about the teams that wanted to move. The leaks are coming out on what was offered up to various teams to move up and down in the draft. And, I think the Vikings and Giants picks or trade packages have been leaked now to the New England Patriots to try to move up to 3 for Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
It was Minnesota allegedly offered 11, 23, a 2025 first-round pick, and another pick, but they wanted a second. And that's where the Patriots are like, no, we're not going to take that. We'll just take Drake May. The Giants wanted to swap. I think
they wanted a second back?
They wanted a second-round pick in return. Yeah. So they wanted number 3 and a second-round pick in the future. And New England's like, no, we're good. We're going to sit here. And then the Giants, I think it was 2 firsts and something else, just kind of sprinkled in there. And New England said, no, we're out. We're good. We're just going to take Drake May and go.
That's not quite Bryce Young territory. So, yeah.
Because, look, the Bears got DJ Moore and this year's number 1.
And then, what was it, 2 seconds and a third?
Yeah. So they didn't want to move there.
No.
But we are also hearing about some teams and what they were offered and what shopping was going to go on. Adam Schefter went on the Pat McAfee show, and he dropped this one that is raising a lot of eyebrows around the NFL.
And the truth is the Commanders, the 2 quarterbacks they had in consideration at 2 were Jaden Daniels and J.J. McCarthy. So Drake May wasn't going to. He just wasn't going to. He's going to go 3 to New England. But back to Harbaugh a second. What's interesting about that is what would have been really cool, and there were other teams that were thinking that this would have been cool, if Jim Harbaugh believed in J.J. McCarthy as the best quarterback in this draft class, as he said, as the best quarterback in the history of Michigan football, as the man who had the best pro day of any quarterback he's ever seen. Why not go take that quarterback at 5 and go trade Justin Herbert? And you could have traded Justin Herbert for, I'm going to make this up off the top of my head, 4 ones.
Mm-hmm.
4 ones.
Okay.
Right?
Just off the top of my head.
And you know what? I wasn't the only one that had the idea. The Chargers couldn't do it because the cap charge for this year would have been about $64 million. And all the new money in his contract was coming due. And I think the Patriots and the Vikings had the same idea because both teams reached out to the Chargers to inquire about Justin Herbert and were flat out rejected before there could be any talk. So they thought the same thing that I did. Like, hey, you like J.J. McCarthy so much? Go pick him and trade us Justin Herbert. But they never even considered it.
See, that's interesting where this conversation is taking, that the Chargers were entertaining trading Justin Herbert. It seems like teams were calling to say, hey, you love J.J. McCarthy, we'll take Herbert off your hands. And the Chargers said, no, we're not doing it. So it wasn't like they were floating Justin Herbert as trade bait, because it would have been a $65 million cap hit this year for the Chargers to get rid of Justin Herbert.
But you take the call because you look at the math behind it and you weigh those opportunities. You do this with everyone.
Well, that's exactly
Patrick Mahomes is the only person in the league that you don't do that with.
But you do. You do, because remember, John Lynch called Bill Belichick and said, what's it going to take to get Tom Brady? And he said, nothing you can offer. How about Jimmy Garoppolo? And that's how the San Francisco 49ers ended up getting Jimmy G. Was they lobbed that call because remember all the rumors were, hey, Brady's getting long in the tooth. Are the Patriots going to be willing to move off him? They give that call, and Belichick's like, no, we're not going to send him back home to the Bay Area. But you can take Jimmy Garoppolo off our hands, and you can do that right now. you take those calls every single time, and because you never know what doors are going to open up off of it.
But even as it pertains to Herbert, you take that call and you have that conversation because you look at how the Chargers are set up right now financially, and they are in it. Whether it's Bosa, whether it's Mac, whether it's Herbert, they have so much money committed to the very top with a new coach coming in. What does Harbaugh do? Does he take over teams that are already built, or does he start from scratch and build them?
He has taken a lot of teams from scratch. The Niners were not, when he took over the Niners, they weren't that. They
weren't stripped down for parts, but they
Yeah.
were not what they would end up being.
Absolutely.
He likes to build in his vision, not take over. He's not a cook that takes over a meal halfway through.
But I think he likes the nuts and bolts of what this roster has.
Sure.
Because he comes in already with an established quarterback. The offensive line, you just need to keep those guys healthy is the big one moving forward. You have an elite pass rusher. You have an elite safety, and Derwin James got to stay healthy. But with all of those guys, it comes with major cap hits. And if you look at it just for this year alone, Bosa's got a $26 million hit. Mac has got a $26 million or $25.5 million hit. Derwin James is at 19.8. Herbert is at 19.3. Those are four high-priced guys that you have right off the top. And so, of course, they're going to be sitting there and they're going to be looking at any and all options to improve this roster. They're not that far off. I still am really apprehensive to see what they are thinking at wide receiver and what they can do at the wide receiver position, because they haven't remedied that still.
No.
I mean, you look at, they got Ladd McConkey, so you have a slot. In Ladd McConkey, which they picked up with their second round pick, he can stretch you vertically too. He's fast, but he's not a big body every down target.
Quentin Johnson is, but he was not good last year.
No, he wasn't.
Probably one of the biggest disappointments from last year's draft.
And then they got Brendan Rice in the 7th round as a 7th round pick.
Have you seen the video of that pick?
No.
It's crushing. So Brendan Rice was the reason he wasn't really around. He was at a funeral for his best friend.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, he was he was giving the eulogy at his best friend's funeral and took the call outside of the funeral home. Like that's a tough place to be. But he stays in L.A. And look, I like Rice. I thought he was really solid at SC, but I don't see him as being a number one guy. And don't get me wrong, the lineage is tremendous, but he struggles, I think, with the regular, but he excels in the spectacular. Like he had some absolutely insane out of frame, out of range catches that you were like, oh my God. But the down to down stuff isn't the guy that I think you look at to build your wide receiver core on.
And one thing that I guess Chargers do have that they can look at is you're playing in the AFC West, where the Broncos and the Raiders are still trying to figure it out, what they're going to do roster wise. I mean, neither one of them are complete by any means.
No, God, no.
And so you'd have Kansas City, and that's going to be a juggernaut for everybody in the AFC. But with the talent in the roster that they have, Harbaugh's coming in with a leg up on half of the division already.
Yeah.
And now you got to squeeze that juice out of Justin Herbert to see how much you can get out of him. With the receiving core, that it's not great right now, and they may not be done dealing before this season begins. But I found it interesting that those headlines that we're seeing are because of that clip that we just played, that they were shopping Justin Herbert, where it just kind of sounds like they answered the phone when people called because that's how you operate and that's how you do some business there. But a year or two down the road, could I see the Chargers moving off and going young at quarterback? Absolutely, because of what you outlined with the way that Jim Harbaugh builds his teams, right? He builds them, and if he can do it, and he feels like he can do it on a cheaper number, he might just pull the trigger and do the unthinkable, where you have a franchise quarterback who is young and in his prime, and he goes, no, I'm going to do it a different way. He's a weird bird. He's a very weird bird.
But he's also been successful at every single stop.
And I also, though, I think with the way that Harbaugh and Greg Roman used Andrew Luck at Stanford, it could be really fun offense for Herbert to operate in with Greg Roman.
It's fair.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of coaches and the way they handle their rosters, what's going on in Colorado right now? Danny Dusty on the Fan. All right, we're gonna hold on Dion for a minute, or maybe 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
But because it's getting hairy. It's getting hairy in Colorado right now. Boulder is going through it.
Yeah, it needs a razor.
Speaking of Denver, Michael Porter Jr. is going to go for 60 in the next playoff game.
Good Lord.
I have been astonished with the way that he has been able to perform with everything that's going on in his orbit throughout that first round where they eliminated the Los Angeles Lakers. He was awesome. throughout that series.
Basketball might be his haven and his sanctuary right now.
He has a brother, Jonte Porter, who's been banned for life in the NBA for gambling on basketball,
Fixing games.
which also means like he can't go to arenas, so he'll never be able to go and watch his brother in person. He has another brother who was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Yes, for vehicular manslaughter and DWI.
And now he has a third brother, Javon Porter, who plays at Pepperdine?
Yeah.
I think formerly did.
Yeah,
formerly
I think he's
at
in Missouri
Pepperdine?
now, like all
Okay.
of the others.
And he was arrested for speeding, and I saw suspicion of DWI at 1:30 in the morning this morning. That is 3 of his brothers have either been arrested or got banned for life. And by the way, it's not done with Jonte Porter. The legal troubles are going to start for Jonte Porter in the betting scheme. So he has 7 siblings, 3 of his brothers, and there's 4 boys. So he's the only one that has not gotten in significant trouble in the last month.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about things come crumbling down around you, that's it right there.
And it's seemingly like with that's why I'm so impressed with Michael Porter Jr. is like with every single like stumble that his family takes, he's like playing better. Like it like you said,
The Highlander situation.
It is his
As his brothers get taken down, he becomes more powerful.
Basically, yeah, because he keeps playing better and better as all of this happens. Like to be able to do that, and I think you're right in that, where it's like it is his safe haven is on the basketball floor right now because everything else around him is an absolute mess. But then again, like you sit there and you know these. You know people like this, we all do, where their life is kind of, they live in chaos and they grow up kind of in that chaotic environment, and maybe that has a little bit to do with it, where he's just like, I know how to shrug all this off because it's an absolute disaster around me 24/7 growing up.
I mean, no one's immune to this stuff, so I don't want to get into, he comes from money and da-da-da. Like, I've seen good, bad, rich, poor, everyone gets impacted by stuff. But I mean, for the love of God, man, give the guy a break.
Rest of your family?
I'm serious. Like, my God.
And he's got 3 sisters too,
I believe,
right?
Yeah. It's a big family.
Big ass family.
And I mean, again, they're well off, but not. And of course, Michael Porter Jr. is making $180 million. Like, they're fine, but you're not immune to this stuff, and it is kind of insane that he's playing this well. But it's almost, and this sounds terrible to say, but I'm almost waiting for the shoe to drop with him, because the knock on him coming out was he's a dummy.
Yeah, he's got baggage around him,
and
he's got baggage around him.
Like he's the one that you expected to step into something. Like, that was beyond his massive red flags for his back. It was he says stupid things, and it doesn't matter where you sit on things politically or anything, because he's had his own views on that. But it's very much a, what the hell did he just say? And that happens quite a bit. But maybe that's it with him. Maybe he just says dumb stuff as opposed to doing it.
Yeah, and look, there's like the blessing in disguise could have been all those knocks around him made him more aware. I mean, you can be a dummy and just sit there and you hear it enough, and you're like, okay, I need to get my
tighten it up
ducks
a little
in
bit.
row. Yeah, and get my S together a little bit.
Sucks that your family has to be the ones that kind of set the precedent for you, but
sure does.
Maybe that's sometimes what it takes.
You see, I sent you this meme. Broncos picked Nick Gargiulo in the 7th round.
Yeah, I did see this. My God, it's terrifying.
He is an offensive lineman they picked in the 7th round of the draft, and somebody goes, he looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a wicked mustache and really long hair.
His flow is immaculate.
And somebody superimposed his facial hair and hair onto Nikola Jokic.
And they look like twins.
It's a dead ringer. Like, it is a dead ringer. The Denver Broncos.
And he loves horses.
Well, because he's a Bronco. I think Jokic, it may be Jokic. Just being like,
moonlighting.
Going to go and play in the NFL.
Let me go and show you how good my feet are. I'm going to go pass pro.
Oh, he's got length. He's got good reach. He's got good reach. Nobody's going to get into his body.
Those levers got to be pretty impressive.
Yeah. Hey, here's a text on the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online, VancouverFord.com. Porter's brothers make Jackson Mahomes look like just a minor troublemaker. Yeah. I mean, he got into legal. Jackson Mahomes did get into legal trouble.
Didn't he beat a woman?
No, he forcibly kissed a bar manager.
That's right. Yeah, worse.
Yeah, and it was caught on
video. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of not maybe worse, but samesies. You know, like on the it's all bad.
Yeah,
on the all bad front.
I think when you slide over to the sexual assault side, it gets worse.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me.
Yeah, forcibly kissed a woman that was like, get out of here. What are you doing? You jerk. And his overall just entitlement, you know?
He's also just a giant douche canoe.
He is. He is.
Yeah. Tangentially famous people weird me out.
With zero awareness whatsoever.
I mean, that's they all are.
Zero awareness.
Has there ever been anybody who's tangentially famous? You're like, I like them.
Ooh. Does Mark Wahlberg count? Because Donnie Wahlberg was famous earlier, right?
But
is that okay?
Mark Wahlberg was older, a giant douche.
Yes,
and then he went like full redemption arc.
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe.
Yeah, he might be the one.
That damn funky bunch.
Yeah.
So that whole one incident, not the only thing he's trying to erase from his past. He doesn't like it when you bring up Marky Mark.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
That's not surprising.
I bet you Tim Allen doesn't like you when you bring up the Coke either.
Yeah, you got that too.
Just,
Yep.
I'm sure he doesn't.
I found that
Sorry,
out.
Tim Allen, you're just catching strays because you're the first one I thought of.
Yeah, I found that out when I was a kid, like when Home Improvement was still on, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, went to Michigan jail for.
What are we?
Oh, I remember being super surprised the first time I heard Bob Saget curse.
Bob Saget,
one of the
being
dirtiest comics,
bluest comedian of all time, is like that was a little bit. Danny Tanner did not expect that one coming.
No,
did not expect. R.I.P. Danny Tanner.
I bet you that
Saget.
trio. Bob Saget and
Tim Allen and Mark Wahlberg?
No, from Family or from Full House.
Full House?
Yeah.
So
Stamos and Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier. I bet you they had some good times. I bet you that's a good times group.
Well, I bet you Stamos is probably the square out of all of them.
He probably is.
Because he's still touring with the Beach Boys.
What?
Yeah.
That's what John Stamos
I don't know,
does?
The Beach Boys look like they do a lot of.
Oh, he's been with the Beach Boys doing decades.
Since Full House.
Yeah.
Since Full House when they had the Beach Boys special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave Coulier, he married Alanis Morissette, didn't he?
I don't think married. They dated
for a long time.
And the what her famous song I think is about him.
Isn't it ironic?
No, not that one. The her first one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You ought to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you ought to know by now.
Yeah.
And then also in that same thing, you had Varsity Blues, the Stamos' wife who got her kids into USC with Massimo. What's her name?
Oh,
she's a hot.
Wait, Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin.
Oh yeah,
Lori Loughlin.
Yeah, Aunt
who's
Becky
on the show. Aunt Becky.
I thought you were talking about Rebecca Romaine Stamos, who's the real hot in all of this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The actual ex-wife.
No, I will. I have more of a thing for Lori Loughlin than I
Aunt
do.
Becky guy.
Look,
more Aunt Becky than.
And remember,
Rebecca Romaine.
Stephanie was into all the drugs, and the Olsen twins.
Yeah, she had a rough patch.
Yeah. What are the Olsen twins up to?
I don't know, 97, 98 pounds.
Combined.
Just sitting
a
on
whole
piles of
Callista
money.
Flockhart.
Yeah. Yeah, what are they doing these days?
I don't know. The sister's the more famous one now.
Who's their sister?
The Marvel one.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen. She's been doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
she's Wanda.
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No idea.
That's an Olsen.
Yeah,
Crazy,
I've
huh?
seen it. Yeah. Now that I can see the Olsen twins in her face.
Yeah.
too. Yeah, the facial features. All right. Well, they're like billionaires. You remember how creepy that was?
When they
That there
turned
was
18?
There was a countdown. There's a website
Yeah.
that had a countdown clock that was getting like millions of hits per day for when they turned 18.
That's just gross.
Times have changed, guys.
That's just gross.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of times changing and gross things, this was the worst day on the web with Deion Sanders, huh?
Gosh, that was only 19 years ago.
Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. But first, here's the Big Kahuna with the Point Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, 2 more first-round games tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Celtics hold a 3-1 series lead hosting the Heat. No Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez Jr., or Terry Rozier for Miami. Kristaps Porzingis out for Boston. It's a 4:30 tip on TNT. The Celtics are 14.5-point favorites. In the nightcap, coverage of Game 5 of Mavericks-Clippers from L.A. starts at 6:30 over on 910 ESPN Portland. Luka Doncic not doing much in shoot-around this morning. He's still dealing with an illness, and said if it were a regular season game, he probably wouldn't play. Kawhi Leonard out for Los Angeles. Tip around 7 o'clock on TNT. The Mavericks are 2.5-point road favorites. ESPN reporting the Broncos will not pick up the fifth-year option on quarterback Zach Wilson for the 2025 season. It would have been a guaranteed almost $22.5 million. Over in baseball, the Mariners looking for a sweep of the Braves before hitting the road for a 7-game trip. It's the bottom of the third, and they trail Atlanta 1-0 thanks to an Emerson Hancock bases-loaded walk to Marcell Ozuna. And on the ice, the Winterhawks hosting Prince George tonight at the BMC in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, up 2-1. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan. Today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Well, today's worst day is more of a, I don't know, worst week, worst month, worst year. Not exactly sure where to put the caveat on this because things are falling apart all around Deion Sanders in Colorado. And if you want to get caught up, you don't have to read any articles. You don't have any logins or any subscriptions. Just go on Twitter and search Deion Sanders and go to his Twitter profile and find him going at former players.
This may be one of the most
unhinged.
Well, yeah,
it's unhinged. There's no way around this. It's let the kid who didn't play for you, who didn't do anything for you, act a fool on his own and let him make an ass of himself.
Well, even for Deion, it's uncharacteristic. Yeah, I mean, this is for Deion Sanders, who is outspoken. He is a vibrant personality in sports and always has been, right? Remember all he said last season, and especially after the Oregon thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where when Dan Lanning says, they're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins and all that stuff. Remember what Deion said after that? We don't talk about anybody but ourselves. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, we don't throw shade at anybody else. We just take care of ourselves. That is not what is happening right now. No. And it's not even like punching back at what is going on, because he's not fighting back in saying, what Xavier Smith, who was quoted in that Athletic article about his time at Colorado and how it all fell apart. He's not denying any of that. He's not fighting back and defending himself in his actions. What he's doing is kind of verifying what everybody thought after that article came out. Mm-hmm. After Cormani McClain comes out and says, like, hey,
I want to play for a place with substance.
Somewhere that is going to develop me and help me grow, right? And we're starting to hear more and more as players are saying things like, there's one kid that they put their social media handles on the back of their practice jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he showed up to practice one day and Deion had put the transfer portal for 24/7 Sports on the back of his jersey.
Which, look,
that's just such an a-hole move.
I want to qualify this.
I don't even know that a-hole move begins to describe it.
It's funny if it's not from his coach.
Right. Well, I mean, if it's a teammate or something like that, pulling a prank on him.
with you?
Yeah.
It, unquestionably, when I first heard it, I was like, that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
That's really
that's pretty sick burn. But your head coach doing that is so out of pocket.
So we had yesterday, when we talked about this yesterday, Shedeur Sanders was going at, Xavier Smith saying, I don't even know. I don't even know who this guy is. Must have been mid.
Yeah.
Okay. There was just a random Twitter user that said, hey, tell your son to stop acting like he's the coldest out here, and then put up a 4-8 season. Okay. Like, damn. Mm-hmm. So I understand where this kind of morning of Deion tweeting started, because that one, I understand that he replies and he's firm with it, but he says he'll be a top 5 pick. Where's your son going? I got time today. LOL.
I'm willing to bet money Shedeur Sanders is not a top 5 pick.
It's funny you say that, because I went through 5 different far too early 2025 mock drafts.
Was he in the top 20?
Yes. Yeah, actually, he was in one of them, number 9 to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, God. Fire me into the sun.
But he is not in any of them. He was not a top 5. But that's not to say that he can't be. He took a lot of sacks, and look, he has a dynamic arm. He can throw the ball really well, and he throws a very good ball.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a lot of sacks, holds onto the ball for far too much, tries to do too much with it. And look, their offensive line was atrocious last year, and Deion has made no bones about that. But for all of the folks that are saying that all he's in for at Colorado, and there are more and more voices of former players that are coming out and saying this, is that all Deion really cares about is Shedeur and Shiloh, and getting them looks and getting them opportunities. Deion's day continued on social media when he put out a tweet about Xavier Smith, okay? Because Xavier Smith was the guy who was in the Athletic article, one of his teammates, okay, came to his defense on Twitter, right? Because now that young man is at Austin Peay. And so Jaheim Ward was defending Xavier Smith because they're teammates together. Deion quote tweeted his stat line from last year and said, Lord Jesus, because the kid had 8 tackles, no forced fumbles, no interceptions, and 4 passes defended. So he's not even just going at the guys that were in the transfer portal from his former team. He's going after an FCS,
somebody else's kids,
an FCS player at Austin Peay who was just defending his teammate Xavier Smith.
What's funny is Ward, the other player here, then quote tweeted Deion with a or was it what did Deion say? Lord Jesus, with a Lord Jesus that said, "I got more pass deflections than your son."
Because he did.
Because he did.
Because he did.
His Deion's other son Shiloh is in the secondary.
A defensive back. But what has kind of come out of all of this is you don't see head coaches taking shots at.
Is that Deion's an ass?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that part of it.
Well, you don't see head coaches taking shots at former players. We have not seen coaches take shots at current players like Deion Sanders has either. Because think about all the things he said about their roster before last year, and then when things started getting sideways and squirrely, calling out his offensive line and just saying they're not good enough, all those things. This is kind of unprecedented territory that he's in. And I've long said I want to see Deion succeed because I think it's really interesting the way that he is trying to go about it, right? All through the transfer portal, he's ignoring high school recruiting, and the high school recruits that he is getting are now leaving in droves. 2 of his crown jewels from a year ago already gone. The high school kids. And it's going to be a revolving door. You've got to be able to win football games. That is going to be paramount. You can't. And now people are just coming at him like, dude, you went 4-8. We're really going to be talking about this. And by the way, 1-8 in conference play, including blowing a 29-0 lead at halftime to Stanford. Okay. But as all of these knocks start happening, it also knocks Deion down a peg, right? When he's getting into this from guys that are in the portal. Because he's getting knocked down a peg when he's been elevated as this coach that's going to help you thrive and help you succeed. And all these kids are coming out being like, dude, my experience at Colorado was miserable. And are the players good? Most of them, no. They're not that are leaving. But when you have this many guys start piling it up,
61% of his 2023 recruiting class is gone.
It takes a
That's
hit.
Nuts.
It takes a hit, and every other coach in the country uses it against you. I think one of the biggest things that Colorado's up against, though, is the fact that they've painted themselves a bullseye on their back for every single team that plays them. And they're not good enough to withstand that bullseye. Like, they're not going to catch anybody sleeping on them. They're entering the Big 12, which is not going to be as good as the Pac-12 was this past year. But you're going to get every single team's best shot week in and week out.
Because they're going to want to show you what playing for clicks looks like.
Exactly.
That's the way you go against that modality, as it were. It's going to be really interesting to see how that all shakes out, because I'm with you on like wanting Deion to succeed and being a little bit different, but what the hell, man? He's tweeted 9 times today. And it's all been just gibberish.
Do you think we would be like exactly where we are right now had they not beat TCU to start the season? Like, do you think it would be as loud and insufferable as it is?
Yeah. Yes.
Because there's nothing tampering down Deion.
But that you're talking that 3-0 start where it was like people were like, oh, it's working. Well, it turns out that TCU was a flash in the pan, went to the college football playoff. They were terrible last year.
All of their top guys went to the NFL.
And then they beat, I think, an FCS team in Colorado State, and then just got the doors blown off them by Oregon.
Yeah, and they beat Nebraska, too.
That
was game 2.
Yeah, it was Nebraska. It was Matt Rule, and then Colorado State. And I think those 2 wins to start the year, though, they were what got the hype train just rolling out of control.
Sure.
And Colorado State damn near beat them. I mean, that game was
running
crazy.
the same route every single play.
Over and over and over again.
Here come the unders.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
This text. That Louis bot was at a swap meet.
Yeah. He's like, where you put the diamond detector on, and it's like, it's fake. Yeah. Womp 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 womp. I have a little palate cleanser.
Yeah, hold on really quick. This text says, I'd like to know what Rick Pitino thinks of Dion calling out other players. Remember, Rick Pitino, that made national headlines where he's like, dude, our guys are unathletic. They're not. To a man, though, how many of those guys at whether it's St. John's or anybody that's played for Rick Pitino,
ain't nobody leaving Rick.
They say
they ride or die for him.
He is doing the best to maximize us.
That was a motivational tactic more than going after his guys.
I will also say, though, that was unhinged. And everybody at the time was like, dude, Rick Pitino, pump your brakes, dude. You're the guy that brought all these guys in. Right?
Well,
they said the exact same things that we're saying about Dion, but Dion is now fighting back at former players who are like, dude, you didn't treat me right when I was there.
Yeah, you're not going to find anybody saying that about Rick.
Yeah.
I know guys that have gone on recruiting visits to places Rick has been at who will ride and die for him.
Well, I mean, we know why after we found out what was
I'm
going
saying,
on at old
like
Louisville.
I said,
huh?
they're taking care. Rick takes care of guys, okay? It's the complete opposite of Dion. Ain't nobody got anything nasty to say about Rick Pitino, at least for former players.
That's right.
That's how it goes.
The only people I think bad things to say are maybe his wife after the Italian restaurant incident in the NCAA.
Yeah, true. Neither one of them played for Rick. Just saying. All right, coming up, a little bit of palate cleanser and a fun little enjoyable moment. And for all of the negativity that baseball gets, these are the little moments that we love to see. Coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
And Edwards right here. DX. Yeah.
They really should just get the rights to put this over him doing the chop.
He needs to do it. You have to do it.
It was great. Sitting there at half court, just hitting the chop over and over and over and over at the Phoenix Suns. Have you seen the clip from like the fan? And
It's starting introductions, just this
just
starts
come out,
playing.
just hit it to everyone.
Move over Alan Parsons Project. There's a new great intro in basketball.
He's hitting the DX chop, and it's a fan filming from half court on the opposite side. And Richard Jefferson is calling the game, and clearly his mic is muted because he is just pointing and laughing and talking endlessly. Because it's not during a commercial. It's like I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I was like, this is perfect. This is like, it was one of those things where I was like, Richard, turn the mic on.
Yeah.
Turn the mic on.
Do it.
Come on, turn the mic on.
Do it.
Because if you've ever listened to Richard Jefferson tell stories or like do road tripping with Channing Frye, it is gold. The stuff that those Arizona guys, him, Channing, Gilbert, did and got away with at Arizona is unhinged but hilarious.
I think I have a buddy that lived on the same floor as Gilbert Arenas in their freshman year in the dorms, and he said that Gilbert was a really like nice guy, but he would just like walk in and take stuff out of your room, and then just like
Like it was
walk out,
communal?
and you'd be like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just borrowing it." It's like, that's my soap. It's like it's my shower caddy. That's my Foreman grill. He's like, "Oh yeah, here, yeah, have it back." Like he was really nice. Like if you called him on it, but if you didn't call him on it, it was his.
He's a different cat. But back to the uplifting story, as it were, following the Dion stuff. The cool thing about baseball, one of my favorite things about baseball, much like NFL Draft Day, is the videos that you get from NFL Draft. When guys make debuts, when guys get called up to the majors, one is that the hidden camera conversation with the manager in the minors saying you're getting the call to the show.
Like we saw with Jackson Holiday, who's now back with
I mean, inevitably,
the Norfolk.
almost everyone that gets called up the
Tides.
first time
Yeah.
goes back down.
Yeah, he was on the struggle bus.
Mike Trout got sent down, hell, I want to say like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, Mike Trout getting hurt.
Knee surgery, that's a bummer.
Meniscus tear for Mike Trout.
Well,
That's a
at
bummer.
least they called it a meniscus tear and not a non-surgical repair flap management. Philadelphia 76ers.
No, not a flap. Not a flap. No flap.
No
flap.
No flap involved.
What happened was there's a piece hanging.
But the Milwaukee Brewers are taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. And Tyler Black for the Milwaukee Brewers is making his debut. And Rod Black, who is a 30-year broadcaster in Canada on TSN, was being interviewed in the stands as his son was up to bat. And this is what we got out of it.
Hit. I think hand-eye from hockey also helps. There's a base hit to right field for my boy, Tyler Black. There you go. Oh, there you go. 2 for 2. Happy birthday, Nancy.
That was incredible. He's got tears in his eyes, guys. This is an incredible moment for the Black family. Congratulations to you guys. What a fantastic day.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think we're going to start drinking heavily.
Welcome to Milwaukee. You fit right in.
We love Milwaukee. We love Milwaukee. We're never leaving.
Absolutely awesome.
That is
like
great.
You be interviewed as your son gets a nice little base knock up the middle, but number one, his voice is perfect.
Yes,
that is a baseball. That if you didn't tell me that wasn't the normal play-by-play guy on TV, I wouldn't have missed a beat.
He just picked it up, no issues, just boom, he picked it up and got it.
And it was super cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't his very first hit because it was his second hit of the day on his debut where he was 2 for 2
Yeah,
at that point.
And like he came in because who is it? Gary Sanchez went down with an injury, and so he pops into the game. Not only that, how about the Fire? They had a big brawl in that game too.
What, 4 guys got suspended out of it?
Yeah, let's go.
Uribe threw a real punch.
Yeah, we got a real
real punch thrown.
Not just hold me back guy.
No,
we got a real punch going.
It was a right hand overhand that came down and he punched the guy with the helmet on.
Yeah, you don't punch the helmet.
Use the off arm to knock the bill of the helmet back. then punch.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Come on.
Soften him up with a body blow. That helmet's going to come off pretty easily.
Yeah, get him to fold forward, get the helmet to come off,
Yeah.
or you go hockey style. Got to pull him down and rip the helmet off, and then go for the uppercuts down low.
But you can't really pull on those jerseys because they'll tear. We've seen that.
Which is actually kind of nice, though. I mean,
They got the tearaway jerseys.
Yeah, it's just momentarily, just pull it over the head. It'll be stuck for a split second. So if you're the guy getting the jersey pulled, it's not like a hockey jersey. You get that jersey pulled over your head, you're in trouble. that jersey ain't given. That thing's made in America.
That's great. My favorite part of that is we're going to start drinking heavily because
Welcome to Milwaukee was the response.
I think we're going to start drinking heavily.
Not only are you in Milwaukee, but you're Canadian too.
Yeah.
So everything is tracking right now. It's like we're Canadian. We like to drink. We had a hockey reference in there at the very beginning.
He was talking about his hand-eye coordination as growing up as a hockey player.
Because he played a little hockey and then boom, slaps a hit, and now we're gonna start tipping him back. By the way, he went 0 for 2 after that. But
he was 2
for 2 before, and that's all that matters.
2 for 4 is a good day.
That's a great day.
It's a
500, man.
Great day at the office.
Let's go.
But I just thought that was a really cool moment. I love the go to the stands, first at bat home run.
Yep.
Those things are always so. What's crazy is how many guys have been called up in Major League Baseball history that have hit home runs in their first at bat.
Yeah.
It's
dialed.
You would think that it's like 1 in a million kind of a situation, but it happens pretty. I shouldn't say pretty often. It is not an uncommon occurrence.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a number there. How many guys have had players with a home run in their first at bat? Now this is from last year. Of how many guys that oh my gosh, it is,
dude, it's a mile long.
It's like over 100.
Yeah, it's probably like 150 names.
Yeah, the first guy to do it was Joey Harrington in 1895. Not that Joey Harrington. I know what you guys were thinking.
Looper.
He was played for the Boston Bean Eaters.
God, what a great name. Can we bring that one back?
Yeah, probably. I mean, somebody would get offended or upset by it, obviously.
I don't like beans. I'm bean intolerant.
Yeah, they'd be like, we can't have this anymore. I'm trying to think.
It's probably a derogatory term for the Irish cops.
Oh, that might be it. That might be it. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look down this list here of who the most recognizable names are. I mean, Wilson Contreras is one. Jorge Soler, Sterling Marte.
That's 3 pretty good names.
Starlin Castro. I remember that.
Yeah.
Jason Hayward.
Yeah, I remember that at bat.
Yeah.
That one was they had that one on. I think that was a national broadcast game, or was either that or it was all over SportsCenter because he was a massive prospect.
Adam Wainwright.
You're kidding me?
No, Adam Wainwright.
Waino's first at bat was a home run.
May 24th, 2006.
That's hilarious.
Mike Napoli is in there, dude. Yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty good list.
There's some good names, and I'm not even at 2,000 yet. That just tells you. The list is crazy.
One of Ellie or O'Neill Cruz, didn't one of them?
They were not on this list.
Maybe it was their first game.
Gary Gaetti, Will Clark.
Good God.
Yeah.
I guess there's some names on there.
Jose Offerman. I mean, it's a distinguished list of guys.
Like it's not like a foolproof thing, but if you're on this list, chances are you're going to have a pretty solid career.
I mean, most of these names I do have no idea, but a lot of them are really good. I mean, like big time names,
like legitimately big time players.
Hack Miller.
That's a great name. Go up there and have a hack. Go hack away.
Yeah. We need to bring the name Hack back.
We do.
Ace Parker.
It's a great name.
That is a phenomenal name.
Today's a good day for names.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. All right. Well,
so there you go. That's talking names and talking dads watching their sons.
It is talking names.
It's good times. All right, coming up next, we'll revisit the NBA playoffs as another team is poised to go home, and I throw on my Silky Johnson outfit. Coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
Whoa.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Wednesday afternoon. We appreciate you. We love you. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you, and thanks for hanging out with us.
I did quick research. We were just talking about Tyler Black. He becomes the 136th player in Major League Baseball history to hit a home run in his first at-bat. 136.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's way more than what I ever would have thought.
You're thinking like
knocked that one out of the park.
15,
yeah.
20, maybe 30 guys in Major League Baseball.
I guess think of it this way, one-ish a season.
Yeah. Over the history of the longest running professional sport in America.
Which, I mean, again, like, it's not often that guys get called up and you have just that one sample size of that one at-bat, that very first at-bat. For that many people to hit home runs is pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
So there you go. That's your fun with numbers. Speaking of fun with numbers, the Heat are down 3-1 in a series and about to go packing as the Boston Celtics take on Miami tonight with a chance to move on to the next round.
Boy, that warms your heart, doesn't it?
Warms the cockles of my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure does.
That cold, dark little thing in the middle of my chest.
Now, this isn't a surprise to anybody, though.
No, fully healthy, they're getting run out of the playoffs.
But 3-1, and I think it's probably, even with Jimmy Butler, we're still at the staring down a 3-1 series lead for the Boston Celtics because they just went crazy from 3 with Tyler
franchise
Hero.
record 23 made threes,
and Hero had what, 7? Was that something like that? Those games will happen, but even with Jimmy Butler, they've been outmatched and outmanned. The interesting part for me with this whole series is like, well, Jaquez not going to play tonight, right?
Jaquez is out, Rozier's out.
Kristaps Porzingis, man,
Yeah.
injured again.
I was talking to a few people in Boston about KP, and it's one of those things where Boston's saying, we don't really know, and it's like, no, you know.
It's
probably at least 2 weeks because it's a soleus strain, which is the exact same calf injury that Giannis is dealing with.
And he gets injured all the time. We had this conversation about like the big what ifs, like Blake Griffin when he retired. But Kristaps is that too, because when he plays, he's
very
electric.
good. No, I was talking with somebody at Summer League, I want to say 3 years ago, who covers and works with the Mavs. And he had a chart of all of Kristaps Porzingis' injuries with the Mavs alone. And it was something like 15 or 17 lower body injuries. He's just too big.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It was like, oh, Wemby's going to get hurt. Like, well, no, KP was hurt all the time, always. Like that's always been the thing, where his legs are just so long that it broke down all the time. He'd been, for the most part, pretty healthy the last couple of years. Like, you're like, oh, maybe he's... A lot of that, I think, has to do with him getting out of the paint.
Yeah,
and that's
just playing more perimeter ball. Yeah.
And a lot of that, it's not necessarily but the physicality. It's landing on people.
Yeah.
Landing, like what happened here, landing on somebody else and landing on their ankle.
More explosive plays happen near the rim.
Yes, and so in those areas, if you limit those opportunities, if you look at how Boston uses KP, they post him up at like the top of the free throw line. And they put him as a hub and basically like a bicycle wheel. He's the hub, and they kind of, drive and kick out of that when guys come to help. And because doubling a 7'3" guy in the middle of the floor, really hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, Unicorn is a great nickname for him because they don't exist.
Yeah, it's an incredibly tough thing to do, and now you've got him not on the floor.
Yeah.
And this was always the worry with Boston, is that it's not Tatum and Brown or even Giroux, I think, or hell, Derek White, that the thing was going to be the thing that allowed them to win a title. It was Porzingis. Because let's say they're all healthy and they do meet the Denver Nuggets in the finals, or hell, the Timberwolves. What do you have to do with Porzingis? You have to guard him at the three-point line, which means one of Nikola Jokic or Rudy Gobert is on the three-point line.
And what we saw from it really in that first-round series with Denver, like Jokic looks so uncomfortable. I mean, he just sags all the way down into the paint, and it was a killer for them defensively.
But it was also one of those things where they were daring Anthony Davis and LeBron to hit threes, which is what you should do.
Yeah.
But with Kristaps Porzingis, you can't do that.
Can't do it.
So
back in
yeah,
there.
I still think Boston runs away with this tonight. You've got the rubber match. The team that goes on to win Game 5 in a 2-2 series, which the Mavs and Clippers have going on tonight. I think they go on to win like 86% of the matchups.
And this one's going to be another fascinating one with Kawhi Leonard out of this game, but they've won both games that he has been out of the lineup for.
And
They're
Luka's
0-2 with him in the lineup.
And Luka's been struggling on his efficiency. The numbers are great. He said it the other day that, I feel like I'm letting Kyrie down, which is such a weird thing to say, but he's not wrong. Kyrie's been incredibly good for them. But Luka's been dealing with a gimpy wheel too. And it's like we have all these injuries that we're talking about in the NBA. He's been dragging that right leg. His right knee is banged up. He hit the floor and kind of hyperextended it a little weird. It slowed him down a little bit.
Boy, but then that's more terrifying than any of the other big injuries that we've seen, because if he can't go, who are they relying on
Kyrie.
at that point?
And
No. As their second option, because it's not Derrick Jones Jr. It's not
Dante Exum,
right?
Yeah. No, they don't have any other engines. That
Even
can get
in
them
their
going.
starting lineup, like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, and then it really is. I think you're right. Is it Dante Exum?
He's the next guy that can actually kind of initiate. Yeah, like Josh Green maybe. But yeah,
like you're just gonna hope Maxi Kleber knocks down like 3 threes,
which he is very capable of doing. But you still need somebody to trigger your offense, and that's the thing is Luka pounds the balls. Well, they only have 2 guys who can dribble.
Oof.
That's who can actually generate rim pressure. It's both him and Kyrie, and so without that, it's an interesting proposition. But you want to talk about the forks in the road? If the Clippers lose this series, the noise is getting louder and louder about Paul George leaving and going to Philadelphia. That is the saber rattling behind the scenes around that is just obnoxiously loud.
And it's crazy, but Philly has the money to spend.
They have $60 million in cap space.
That is
a lot.
They've done an incredible job of positioning themselves to keep a window open. But here's the thing with Philly, though. Again, like with Zion, with Joel Embiid, I will believe it when I see it when it comes to being able to withstand a playoff run, right? It was, can he get through a regular season? Well, he did that. Won MVP. And when he is on the floor, it's awe-inspiring to watch Joel Embiid play. But he's hurt again. And every single year, there is something that pulls him back and it eliminates the Philadelphia 76ers from the playoffs. And Tyrese Maxey, he put that team on his back last night, and he had an incredible game. Tobias Harris finally put together a performance, but are we going to rely on playoff P to carry a team in the playoffs? He's been a lot better.
Yeah, not only that, I think a triumvirate of where you don't have to have all that pressure on Embiid of Maxey, PG, Embiid that's on paper about as complimentary of a 3-star group as you can get.
Yes. There's no question about there's only one ball to go around. No.
Those guys all know how to play off
yes,
of each
they do.
Being off the ball. That's what's interesting.
That's what I love about Maxey and Embiid, though. They are 2 truly unselfish players.
No.
They know when to take over, but
and when to defer to each other.
They will defer to everybody on the floor. They've let Tobias Harris expose himself in this playoffs until last night.
Continue to cook. You can say what you want about Embiid, but I think there's a little bit of LeBron in him, and I'm going to make the right play. I think that there is some of that to him, and I think you got to give him credit in that. And that's why I think, and honestly, PG is in that same vein.
What about LeBron to Philly?
It's something that's been talked about.
LeBron to Philly.
Opt out and go to Philly.
Especially because Bryce James, his youngest son, is tweeting about Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
Or TikToking. Sorry.
No, it was
TikToking. It was he shared it on TikTok.
Was it TikTok? I thought it was IG on Reels. But either way, he shared a clip of
Arthur, the cartoon character with his hands in his pockets.
The Nuggets go on a run. Darvin Ham as the Arthur because
Nuggets on a 15-0 run and it's like Darvin Ham hands
not
in
calling
pockets.
a timeout. But also, what did the Lakers not have at the end of the game the other night?
Timeout.
Just saying. because he used one earlier under review.
That's why you don't listen to D'Angelo Russell. Was that the
Yeah.
he's the one that called for it?
Yeah, they won the challenge.
But they don't listen to D'Lo.
So no, that's a safe life lesson.
Don't listen to D'Lo.
Yeah, that's a safe life lesson for sure. Speaking of life lessons that are being learned, Ipe Mizuhara is learning all of them about the federal government. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. The latest on Shohei Ohtani's As My Bank Account Empties. His former translator, Ipe Mizuhara, obviously embroiled in the scandal of stealing over $16 million.
That's a lot of money.
Former friend and MLB superstar, Shohei Ohtani. Latest news on the investigation is that the series of $500,000 payments that Ipe Mizuhara sent from Otani's bank account to an illegal bookmaking operation were forwarded to California and Las Vegas casinos, where the money was then deposited into gambling accounts and then changed out into casino chips and later cashed out to pay the various bookies.
So they were basically using the casino to launder their money. And this is where, if Shohei Ohtani was part of this and there was more to his role, he would be going down with this ship, because they're taking down the CEO of Resort Worlds because of it, who faces 5 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's wire fraud.
Because what was happening was, if you have big transfers like this that are happening and transferring from one person to another, it's supposed to be red flagged by the casinos.
Yes.
Nothing was happening on this because Matthew Boyer, who is the bookie in question here, what he was doing was he was losing, like, I think he lost like $7.9 million, I think is the number that he lost at Resort World.
Which, by the way, great hotel. That's where I stayed at
yeah, it was a great hotel.
last summer for Summer League.
Yeah, it's brand
new.
It's really, it is. Yeah, it opened in 2021. And so this guy also has a gambling problem, not just taking bets. But what the feds were able to find is that the ways that they were trying to legitimize this money and actually get it from Mizuhara to Boyer was using various casinos, not just Resorts World in Vegas, but also California casinos as well, basically doing the exact same thing. And they would just, in turn, hand that money right over to Boyer. And he would go and take it out, exchange it for chips, and he would gamble some of it, if not most of it, away. But what he would also do is gamble a little bit, then cash out the rest of the chips, and that's how he got that money from Ohtani's bank account through Mizuhara, through the casino, into chips, and then cash it out and get that cash.
And the reason why this is a federal case is because the casinos were where? Las Vegas and California, which means cross state lines.
That's brutal, dude.
Wire fraud, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
And this is going to get nastier and nastier. Remember when the FTX scandal happened and you saw a lot of athletes caught up and big names like Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Those cases are still ongoing and their bank accounts getting emptied.
What? Yeah.
He's going to jail, but the financial implications are all being unwound still, because basically everybody who pitched that stuff did so knowingly fraudulent. So it's going to go down pretty sideways. Yeah, people are going to owe a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I thought a lot of those guys, the celebrities, have been cleared because they're just dumb and were hoodwinked by him.
Lot of hoodwinking going on at the same level. But on the same front, you're looking at the Wayne Nix, who was also involved with this. He is one of the other bookies who was working with Scott Sabella, who was previously the manager at MGM Grand before transferring to Resorts World, where this was going on over a course of years. So this is where this all comes from. And he has been picked up or pled guilty to charges that, as president of the Grand, he failed to file suspicious activity reports about another bookie, and that is Wayne Nix. Nix is a former minor league baseball player who has pled guilty to operating an illegal gambling business and filing false tax returns, again, federal charges. His clients include Scottie Pippen, Yasiel Puig, Mav Carter, and the likes, which...
Maverick Carter is LeBron's business manager,
long time
by the way.
at Spring Hill Entertainment. So what's going to come out of this is, unfortunately, well, not necessarily unfortunately, the F around find out index is being indexed very hard. And those guys, those athletes, and there's others, they're going to have their books audited. And there's probably a chance you're going to find out some guys are going to get in some trouble along the line. This is what ends up happening. You pull one string and, we pulled too many strings.
And this is where it's all like why the feds are cracking down on it, is because they're saying that there's only like a handful of these big bookmakers around, and everybody else is basically
on the up.
Like a street soldier that is going out and finding the clients, and then the big bookmakers siphon off 10% up to 10 to 50% to the low level guy. and then they go and take the big cash. They're taking down 2 in Nix and Boyer in one foul swoop here because of the Mizuhara thing.
Yeah, and the thing about this is because the way that financial crimes are tracked now, and this is a grander scheme thing, and it actually almost has nothing to do with gambling becoming prevalent. A lot of the financial crimes and tracking stuff came about because of 9/11, and we changed how we track the flow of money, and the flags that are supposed to get popped that didn't here, which is why he got caught, is a anti-terrorism force protection measure that was put in place following the 9/11 attacks because of how the money was moved around by the Saudis leading to the attacks. So when there's a reason why that this is getting the scrutiny. Yes, it's because gambling's becoming closer and closer to being federally legal, and there's going to be more eyes on it, and they want things have to be on the up and up and tracking and all those kind of things. But even more so than that, the financial crimes tracking divisions within all of the alphabet soup company or corporations up and down the East Coast, the FBI, CIA, DIA, DHS, all those guys, they track this stuff, and this stuff pops up on their radar. Yikes. Which when you pop up on their desk on any given day, you're screwed. That's the nature of that beast. They don't care if you played for the Chicago Bulls.
No, they don't.
So
you're out.
Yeah.
You're
so
done.
that's where this is gonna get nasty because Mizuhara was one of more than 600 bettors that have a book with Boyer or Bowers.
Damn.
Which he ran up a debt of $40.7 million. A debt of $40.7 million.
And that's just the way that bookies operate, right?
Goodness.
Like, because you don't have to have cash because they'll get it one way or another. They'll take anything because they don't have to be on the up and up with everything. And so, like, when you go to and place bets at a casino, you have to have that money, right? You can get a marker from the casino, but it's legitimized and you have to pay them back. Bookies, you don't have to do that right away. And that's how you get up to $40.7 million. And they strung Mizuhara along, and that guy is all sorts of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I said this when it happened. It's like, on the outside, it's really easy for us to be like, hey, how the hell could you not see this coming? How can you be this dense and this dumb? The dude is an addict, and he's addicted to something. And just like substance abuse, you get that addiction and you don't think clearly, and it doesn't make sense to anybody on the outside, but it makes sense to you in that moment. And that's like that's a sad part of where they're preying on and how it got to this point, man. Brutal.
Well, speaking of gambling addiction, what if I could take you to a particular restaurant and hustle you up and down? Would you like that?
No.
No?
Nothing about that.
I'd like it.
It sounded appealing.
Oh, no, I like the idea of it. We'll get into that and more. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, 2 more first-round games tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Celtics hold a 3-1 series lead, hosting the Heat. No Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez Jr., or Terry Rozier for Miami. Kristaps Porzingis is out for Boston. 4:30 tip on TNT. The Celtics are 14.5-point favorites. In the nightcap, coverage of Game 5 of the Mavericks and Clippers from L.A. starts at 6:30 over on 910 ESPN Portland. Luka Doncic did not do much in shoot-around this morning, still dealing with an illness. Instead, if it were a regular season game, he probably would not play. Kawhi Leonard out with a knee injury for Los Angeles. Tip around 7 o'clock on TNT. The Mavericks are 2.5-point road favorites. ESPN reporting the Broncos will not pick up the 5th-year option on quarterback Zach Wilson for the 2025 season. It would have been a guaranteed over $22 million. Over on the diamond, the Mariners looking for a sweep of the Braves before hitting the road for a 7-game trip. They've got their work cut out for them. They are headed to the top of the 7th. They trail the Braves 5-1. Starter Emerson Hancock chased after just 3 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 5 hits, 5 runs. Only one of them earned, though. He did strike out 4 while walking 4. Jorge Polanco finally getting the M's on the board with an RBI single in the 5th inning. And on the ice, Winterhawks hosting Prince George tonight at the VMC in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. They're up 2-1. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
You and I are both mildly degenerate.
Yeah.
We've slung a parlay here or there that maybe didn't have the legs it should have. What if you could take it a step further and you could go to an arcade and bet against your friend or your frenemy?
Or your child.
Yeah.
Or your child.
That's really where the bond is going to be formed.
Yep.
Is your lunch money.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, you want to bet your allowance?
Yeah. That's what Dave & Buster's is doing now.
Yes.
That's what Dave & Buster's is doing, is that they are now allowing wagers to be placed on games, arcade games. This is genius by Dave & Buster's to get the degenerates in there. But it also is the most slippery of slopes when you have whack-a-mole or Pop-A-Shot or skee-ball and something you can wager on.
Air hockey?
This is the one thing that I think my mom is like an incredible skee-ball player. She's coasty, you know. I mean, she grew up in Seaside. I mean, they got skee-ball is.
Could she hit the corner pockets?
She is really good at skee-ball. She is a master at the game art of skee-ball. I think that right there is, you're gonna find people who are like, hey, I got a niche right now. I'm just trying to figure out what my best one it would be. Like there was a time, I haven't played Pop-A-Shot in a really long time, but just going off the glass, being able to, you set records on the old Pop-A-Shot. But I don't think I got that anymore in me. I think it's been too long since I've played.
The contentious level of games on air hockey.
Yeah, it would get aggressive.
Because, every now and then that palm catches the puck.
You can't have air hockey where you have people actually playing against each other, because then you would have fights. That's how fights would happen. You can't bet on air hockey.
You don't think you're going to have fights in Pop-A-Shot or skee-ball?
I think you will in skee-ball, and those balls are heavy, man.
Yeah, no, that they're like Buster's, Dave & Buster's here. Like this is the great thing about this is creating jobs. You know why? Because they're going to need to hire security.
Security there. But Pop-A-Shot, like they're going to get upset, but it's not like because you cheated me in this game of Pop-A-Shot. You control that.
No, you can still, you give them a little bump, a little psych out.
Look, there's decorum here. There's decorum.
Air
hockey is a different animal.
Look, when there's money on the line, there is no decorum.
Yeah. This is
going to be out there blocking your kid taking skee-ball shots. Thanks for your allowance, bud.
But then you sit there and you're like, I won that bet. Like, I won that bet because you cheated right there. Air hockey is that's a different animal because it's mano-y-mano.
Which is why I think that's going to be the most hotly contested.
Yeah. I think laser tag, they're going to have laser tag.
That's going to turn into full contact laser tag.
If they do laser tag, now we're really talking, because you have those people that will just hide out in that one spot, cover their little sensors and just crouch down in a corner. You can't have laser tag in this. I bet it's only right now they're saying that it's on Pop-A-Shot and skee-ball, right? I think those are the only two.
The only two?
Those are the only two. But if they find a way to make this we're going to start seeing.
No, it says customers can soon make a friendly $5 wager on a Hot Shots basketball game, a bet on skee-ball competition, or on another arcade game. The betting function is expected to launch in the next few months and will work through the company's app.
Sign me up for Paperboy if we're talking the arcade games.
There's arcade games in there. Somebody's getting that to work on Mortal Kombat.
Bad Dudes. I was awesome at Bad Dudes. I'm bad. That game was awesome.
Great. Little Double Dragon.
Nobody. You should
Rampage.
Here's the one. Like, everybody knows. Like, you're taken to the cleaners in a majority of Vegas games. The one. Wait, they are going Vegas Vacation. They're taking the off the strip model from Vegas Vacation, and they're just making it a reality for people. Holy smokes, this is crazy.
Yeah.
The one that where you're just throwing money and you're burning it, the Simpsons game. Simpsons game was the hardest arcade game of all time. Like, you could not get past the second level.
That and the multiplayer X-Men game. That was tough.
Never played that game.
Oh, really?
You
get like
can't say I ever played that.
It was on a massive screen, and it was a side scroller with 4 different consoles. So you'd have like everybody up on screen at once. It was tough.
They still got
They had a gauntlet one that was like that too.
You had the old 4-player like Simpsons game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Simpsons game was impossible. You couldn't get past level 2. Like, you could not do it.
I think Gauntlet was the first one of those, and I think the Ninja Turtles one was the next one, and then I think you had
Yeah.
the Simpsons.
You're getting your money taken with the Simpsons game.
Yeah.
It's a bad value bet right there. But Ninja Turtles, I could make some money off Ninja Turtles.
Good one.
I could do that.
But see, the head-to-head competitive nature, you can get the racing games.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The Days of Thunder.
Little pole position.
Yeah.
Those are hard though, because they want you to
clutch up and everything.
They
Yeah.
want the dollars in, man. You
Yeah.
just keep going, and you're gonna be sitting there if you got some skin in the game,
You
and
can
you
be like
have
Brian Earl Spillner against Dom Toretto. You're never even gonna have your car.
you got that 10-second countdown where you got to get that money in or to keep the race going. That's going to be even more important.
It's like betting back in, doubling down,
That's
splitting
right.
aces.
Cruising USA.
Oh, there you go.
Cruising USA. That was the one.
Great soundtrack.
Oh, it did have a
Well,
great soundtrack.
Nothing but bangers.
Man, that was. I'm in. This may actually get me to go to a Dave and Buster's. Do we have a Dave and Buster's around here?
No, I don't think there's.
Yeah.
Do we know?
Is it like
Progress
Jansen?
Ridge, right?
Is that where it is?
No, that's Big
Oh,
Al's.
Big Al's. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
I don't think we have a Dave and Buster's in Oregon.
Wow. See, now we need a Dave and Buster's around. Oh, Happy Valley.
Oh, there's
Got
one.
Dave
Okay,
and Bu-
there's
yeah, I knew
one.
I knew it was kind of in that area
Almost
over
in
there.
Oregon.
Damn, you have to cross the river and Rust is out. He's like, I'm not going.
Well, to be fair,
What are you new here?
yeah,
Don't cross the river unless you absolutely
it
have
is quite literally the only one within 50 miles.
to. They got NFL Blitz still a game?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That'd be a fun one.
Newton football. That was another good one.
Little NBA jams.
He's eating up.
You know, there's an actual cheat built into that game, right? In the NBA Jam. If you played at the designer of the game built a cheat in, if you played as the Cavs against the Bulls, you would build up faster.
Oh, Mark Price. That's why Mark Price always
But he
works.
was a Cavs fan.
I like
and
that.
so it was actually built into the game. The momentum engine would build up and it would slow down the Bulls. That's the
That
kind
is
of
so
that's
petty.
the pettiness that I admire.
I love
I
that.
love that.
I love that.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, listen, maybe Dance Dance Revolution's your jam.
No, Greg we cannot have Greg Oden go and play the Dance Dance Revolution. We cannot have that happen.
Have you ever seen somebody who's like a pro at that?
Yes,
it is terrifying.
They are, and I don't still quite understand what they're doing. I know you're trying to hop on right as the
line it up,
line up at you
Guitar
step
Hero,
on
but
the
with your
thing.
feet.
Yeah, but it's still the way that the
patterns that they do. Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
One of my first dates with my wife was at the Big Al's.
Oh, all
and there
right.
was somebody in there who was very DDR.
Yeah,
like
DDR,
yeah,
Dance Dance Revolution,
yeah, like-
DDR.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
were a DDR nerd.
That
And
was
it
a huge thing. Like
it's
that was.
Look, man, you
people
go,
would wait for hours to play that.
you go
game.
to certain pockets of the world, it's still a huge
Yeah,
thing. And it's
yeah.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, but yeah. So you want to steal money from your kids? That's coming soon to you.
All right, we're gonna have some valuable lessons learned in the Hara household. Looks like we're gonna cross the river.
I like that.
Yep. You just gotta teach them a lesson.
You know
every now
that's
and then.
actually a nice little thing. Your kid gets a little too high and mighty. You gotta take him to cross the river.
No, that is.
It's a nice little euphemism from knock him down a peg or two.
It's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's part of parenting. It's what every good parent does.
Yeah, come here, son. Let me whoop your ass at skee ball.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, you think you're good? You think you know? You have no idea.
Did you see the dad that
punk.
granted a wish to each of his 3 kids that they could do something every year on their birthday, and one of the kids every year he wants to race his dad, and so he's been doing it now for like I think he's just turned 14 or 15, and his dad is beating him every year in the 100 meter, and his dad is like I want to say he's a former track star, like a college track runner.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and his dad is like literally running in a like team leotard.
But that kid is gonna have so much gratification when he finally beats his dad. It's gonna be like Hot Rod when he beats up his stepdad. Like it's gonna be the best day ever for him.
I was like, that's I get it. You want to show the old man up, but I don't know if that day is coming. He might have to be in his 60s before you get him. It's a tough look. Maybe try the skee ball next time, young man. All right, so that's enough of humiliating your children.
D&Bs.
For now. So, but if
D&Bs.
you want to, it's coming soon to a D&B's near you, which is on the other side of the planet, essentially. Coming up next, we'll get ready to hand you off to Isaac and Suk here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Well, speaking of the Big Show, Tugboat Wilkinson sounds like he might be Big Show's tag team partner.
We are back with great nicknames. Back.
It's nothing but great names. Last
So
couple days.
back.
Tugboat Wilkinson is a pitcher for the Lynchburg Hillcats, which, again, great team name. God, I love minor league team names. And Tugboat Wilkinson looks exactly like you think he looks. So he's a large man.
He's a big old feller.
He's cut from the Jello mold of David Wells.
Yes.
spitting image of David Wells.
Yeah, he's even like a little bit more chunky than old David Wells.
So that's why I said
It's
jello.
like, I
him a little
mean,
bit,
it is like
not full.
whoa.
mold. Yeah, no, he's a large man.
Yep.
But he's got 11 K. Or excuse me, last week he had 11 Ks through 4 innings. And Little League, as in Little League World Series, tweeted out, "We called him Tugboat back when he was going all gas, no brakes at 12 years old. By the way, he went for 5 scoreless innings and 16 strikeouts in his first Little League World Series start."
I love it when the Little League World Series kids end up going to Major League Baseball and having it be Tugboat Wilkinson, who pitched for Team Canada, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Team Canada. So he's Canadian. He's festively plump.
I bet you he
and he
drinks syrup
just
from the bottle.
throws gas. I'm in. He's got a .44 ERA.
With 44 strikeouts.
I'm so in on this kid. He's going to be pitching for, unfortunately, the Cleveland Guardians, which when your minor league team has exponentially better name than your big league team, that's a problem. Like the Cleveland Guardians
It's the
having
worst name in sports right now.
Lynchburg Hillcats.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have that.
Not only is it the worst, it's the worst name, it's the worst logo. The repropositioned Chief Wahoo logo is, hey, what if we just turn it sideways and hide it? Just so they could change the stencil was unbelievable.
It was better when they should be the Cleveland Spiders. They whiffed. They screwed it up.
Yep.
It's not good.
We don't have enough spiders in sports.
No. But I hopefully will have Matt Wilkinson there very soon to the big leagues. It's single A. He's in single A right now.
Tugboat pulling on the Guardians along.
But he's throwing gas. Yes. Right there on the river. Catches on fire.
Play a little horn.
Give me more. And he is listed at 6'1", 270 pounds.
Okay, I thought they were going to do him like a 230. I'm like,
No, 6'1", 270.
That's 100% right.
Give that man a mustache and a mullet, and he will be Cleveland's newest son. Like they will. It doesn't matter if he has like a 14 ERA. The fans will demand that Tugboat Wilkinson is on that roster if he has a mustache and a mullet. That's the only thing that this young man is missing. I want him to be in the big leagues immediately. I doubt he ever gets there because that's just the world of baseball and pitching. But sign me up if he ever does make it. He's in single A baseball right now in the Carolina League. Yes, more Tugboat.
I mean, it's a wonderful aesthetic. Only thing he is missing is a big old wad of big league chew.
And his mustache and mullet.
Yeah. Like he looks like he's central casting.
And
I love it.
It's perfect.
This is why I love baseball.
Great nicknames making their way back around. All right, tonight what do you think? We got Heat Celtics, Mavs Clips.
I think the Mavs put the foot down finally and establish a foothold and control in this series. And I think the Heat go bye-bye. And no, I don't think they like their team anymore.
Barry Jackson's been going through it. He's been going through it on Twitter,
he had
man.
a.
I've been noticing